What up, everybody? It's Beefy Boy Dom here. It's a Beefy Boys Breakdown, episode 22. And man, last night was a lot of fun. I feel like it was definitely kind of a slept-on card. Coming off the big Khabib hangover, both figuratively and literally. We'll kind of get to that here in a second. But let me get my Beefy brother on here. What up? Beanie season, dog.
Yeah, it's cold here in Oklahoma now. We had like an ice storm this last week. People without power from what I'm talking to, like 6 days going now.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. I definitely don't miss that. Yeah, it's definitely not that bad out here. We're just having like these crazy like 40-degree temperature swings in one day. Like it'll be like high 40s when I wake up, and then it'll get up to like the low 80s by
See,
later.
that's like the 40-degree swing where you can't do it, right? Like 100 to 60, you can kind of do it, right? Like you can just wear shorts and a t-shirt and let it warm up.
Just
But
wait,
like,
yeah, thug it
but
out.
like 30 to 70,
Oh yeah,
bro, like
no,
bring a sweater, bring some shorts.
I'm doing wardrobe changes like Lady Gaga around here, bro. But
Bay Area probably has some of the most diverse like temperature ranges for not having like the extreme weather. You know what I'm saying? Although you
yeah,
guys get snow up there more than like most of Colorado or more than most of California, as far as like
up
Oklahomans would think.
far up in the hills, yeah, you'll see a little bit of snow up in the hills
I
sometimes.
guess yeah, right up on the ocean front, you don't really get snow, huh?
Yeah, no, but definitely like up in Tahoe, like just a few
Yeah,
hours away. But yeah, man, so the Bay Area has these crazy things called microclimates, bro. And like at first I thought it was all bullshit, but
yeah.
like legit, bro, like you can be in one neighborhood in San Francisco and then like take an Uber to just like a mile away to a different neighborhood and be a completely different climate. Like
Really?
it's like a real thing, yeah, microclimates. It's a real thing, but
Wow.
yeah, no, it's pretty crazy. So yeah, pretty much no matter how you dress when you go to San Francisco, you're gonna be fucked at some point. Yeah, regardless. Yeah, but man, yeah, here's the episode 22, brother.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I got a little claw here ready.
Oh, there you go, man. Fucking, I swear to God, sometimes it seems like we do these like every day, like there's no gap in between, like it goes by super fast.
Yeah, the
I
week
feel like
flies by.
Khabib was like fucking 4 weeks ago, bro. Like, I feel like we have like some hiatus. Like I don't know if we're just so
Dude,
drunk or what
yeah,
the
I
fuck.
got, hey, apologies to anyone that listened last week. I got so hammered by the end of the episode.
Bro, I was gonna say the same thing until I looked at the stats. That's our most viewed episode ever on YouTube. So apparently, America loves drunk beefy boys.
Yeah, apparently when you just ride the D of one of the greatest.
Yeah, no, I was a little concerned, shall we say? I was like, God damn it, did I make an ass of myself? But
What? Yeah, me too. Well, and oddly enough, though, like we had Khabib this last week, and now this week we have
yeah,
Anderson Silva, and it's like arguably you're talking about some of the greatest fighters to have ever walked into the octagon in back-to-back weeks. Now, granted, one's like literally maybe center of his prime, just past it, and then you have Anderson, who it's like, man, it's kind of time to hang it up. Like I love Anderson Silva. I love Anderson Silva. Like one of my
yeah.
favorite fighters ever to watch, just who he is as a person. But he's slowing down and he's taking damage that I just don't want to see him take at this point.
Yeah, man, Anderson Silva was literally how I first got essentially kind of into the sport. Like some
Yeah,
of his big fights where I think we were like in middle school, starting young, early
yeah.
high
Forrest
school year.
Griffin.
Yeah, Forrest Griffin. Did he ever fight Rashad Evans? Did he? Because I know there were
No,
different
but I
weight
think I
classes,
think him and Rich Franklin fought on the same card where Jones and Evans fought.
and then him and Bisping fought.
Yes, that was a
I think I watched
war. Do
that
you
one.
remember that one? That
I
one was
think
in
so.
2013
Yeah,
or
yeah.
2014.
2014. So we were a little old. I was like high school years. Yeah. Yeah, and it was so crazy because back then it was so sporadic. Like obviously we weren't buying pay-per-views, so it was just like if you were at somebody's house or somebody's dad ordered the fights and you just happened to be over there like eating burgers or whatever. Like it
Yeah, that's
was, it was a
exactly right.
different time. You know what I mean? We were younger.
Like
Um,
like the first UFC fight I ever watched was Kenny Florian fighting for the 150 because they only had three belts back then, right? 155, 205, and heavyweight. Those were the only belts they had. Or no, they had 205, 155, 170, and heavyweight, and maybe 85. Like they had the
just trying
five
to
weight classes.
polish off a little bit of this Buffalo Trace left over from last
Dangerous,
week. Yeah,
dangerous.
dangerous. I'm definitely not trying to go that hard, but also
Hey,
wasn't trying to go buy claws when I had this sitting there.
I got it hidden in the back. I got an F5 coming. Don't worry.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, get that tornado coming. But man, yeah, great night at fights last night. Like it was crazy. I just looking at the card beforehand, I was like, oh my God, this main card's amazing, and nobody's talking about it. And then, goddamn it, but I was like, I don't know about these
Dude, the
prelims.
prelims
Prelims
were
were so good,
fire. Like
so
prelims
good, bro.
McGee was alive and well last night.
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna snag a lighter real quick because I'm an
Yeah.
asshole and I always forget that, and then we can dive into these prelims.
Yeah, you're good. I'll just talk about some facts about the fight. So last night we did have Bruce Buffer, which I'm always a fan of Bruce Buffer. I hate Joe Martinez, so shout out to that. Dude, oddly enough, I don't know if you noticed this. We had 4 different refs last night rather than the 2. So that must be a fight commission thing where Nevada gets 3 to 4. And then I'm guessing that Abu Dhabi is just like, let's just run it with 2.
Or
So that
maybe
must
a
be a commission
logistics thing, like one
Yeah,
less
like
guy to fly out, one less hotel room to get, or whatever. I
and
don't
have to
know.
like test like the test screening, like you
True
pay
that.
money for
One
the
less guy to
test.
quarantine. Yeah, so I don't know, whatever. But yeah, important. I'm glad you noticed that little detail for sure.
Yeah, I just thought 4 refs because usually we see 3. I thought 4 was like real weird. And then Chris Tione only did the first 2 fights and then was like, I guess they just were like, go home. I wondered about that too because the fights are drawn at random, but you always have Herb Dean or the last guy at the very end. Like I'm
It
pretty sure
doesn't seem very random.
I think they set a head referee and he gets the main card and everything else is randomly drawn
Okay,
behind that.
that kind
I
of makes
think
sense.
I'm pretty sure that's how they do it. But
Also, I
yeah,
just wanted to, while we're talking about the refs real quick before we dive in, fucking important to know. I believe this was the first fight ever with an official replay review
yes,
official.
in Nevada, in Nevada.
Oh yeah, yeah. So yeah, kind of new president. They're like, as Bisping was saying before the
We
fight, I
needed
can't
it for a
believe it's
long time.
2020 and we're just now
Right.
having this. We should have had it. So just wanted to, like, while we were on the subject of refs and all that, I figured that was important to bring up.
Yeah, no,
But
super good point. Because I mean, it does matter, and there were times last night where they could have potentially used it to try and like see if they were right or wrong. Because there were a lot of times. There were actually 3 occasions last night where a guy got punched in the eye. I was saying it was an eye poke, and it's like, dude, that's just the glove hitting your eye. Like that's a
yeah,
punch.
but I think both times the ref, or at least when I was paying attention, like the ref noticeably saw that it wasn't an eye poke and like called it out like immediately after. So like it
Yeah,
wasn't. It
yes, yeah.
was
He was
because
letting the fighter know
sometimes.
like that was glove, that was glove,
Yeah,
that's a
yeah, and
punch.
so because sometimes the ref will kind of be sitting there like, like
It'd be
was
like,
there? Like, fuck,
you
like,
guys tell me.
yeah. Sometimes refs, like especially the more inexperienced refs or whatever, the more kind of fringe refs, they'll kind of sometimes not be very decisive in those moments, and I think that would have been a time to go to replay. But yeah, a guy like Herb Dean had a nice grip of the situation. I don't know, I didn't have necessarily a problem with it, but let's dive in here. Miles John versus Kevin Natividad to start off the prelims. Bantamweight matchup at 135. Johns was the minus 155 favorite. Tividad plus 130. If you're looking for some underdog action, man, I thought Johns looked phenomenal. I mean,
Yeah.
like he just looked crispy. He looked like he was able to execute his game plan mentally. Just like physically looked well. Looked like the stronger man.
Well,
Looked like
like John's by trait is like a wrestler grappler type,
yes,
so it's
yes,
really impressive to see his striking be as good as it was. And the Tippy Dog
very.
clearly wasn't ready for that combination either.
Yeah, yeah, and it seemed like a lot to deal with. Yeah, because in the first, Johns had a takedown. I mean, he won the clinch advantage and he won
Hmm.
the stand-up striking exchanges.
Right, like I
So,
feel like
like,
he won all phases of the fight in the first round.
yeah,
No, it wasn't like he was like running away with it, dominating
no, it wasn't a ten
Natividad.
eight,
Dodd.
but
You're
just
right,
like
but it was like all right, we clearly see who's out front here.
no matter where the fight went, he was very comfortable and essentially leading the dance, especially in the first round. And then yeah, round two, talking about you didn't really expect to see the crisp striking from the grappler.
Right.
But in round two, man, he really started to establish that jab and just pump the fuck out of that jab, and it was
I think
it
he
was
had
landing flush.
was it a 4-inch reach advantage he had?
Yeah, yeah. No,
Really
actually,
great job
bro,
to control it.
I may be tripping. I want to say the other guy had the reach advantage because I remember Bisping talked about it in the fight. He said, "Oh, like at first I thought Johns had the reach advantage, but I look here and he actually is the shorter." But it made no sense because he was landing the jab at will. I
Yeah, and it
could
was
be
like he
wrong.
was keeping the distance with the jab
He
too.
was keeping
I
the
mean,
distance with the jab, but I'm pretty sure I remember Bisping noting that kind of the same thing. Like, oh, he doesn't even have the reach advantage. I thought he was gonna
it could be a footwork thing too. Like he might be able to slide in and make it appear like he is controlling the
and
range with his
timing.
feet. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Which
for
I
sure.
would also like to know. You're talking about long arms. Kevin Holland has the longest arms I've ever seen in my life, dude.
They're so long. They're
It's
so
we'll
long.
get there, but like holy shit.
Yeah, definitely. Round three, Johns ends up getting the knockout with a big uppercut and just really sets the tone for the card. There was a lot of finishes, especially in the prelims.
So,
And,
did you have it scored 20-18 going into that round before
yeah,
the finish?
yeah, I
Okay,
had
so
1 and 2 to Johns.
like it's one of these things where like John's that was a starching KO. Like for anyone that
Yeah.
hasn't seen it, like Natividad almost does a backflip because he gets
Yes,
KO'd
it
so
like
hard.
literally looks like bad action movie, like karate movie, like fold scorpion backwards in half,
Yeah, your
like
leg's still underneath you and then snaps back. You're like,
uh,
what the fuck?
yeah, like I know we kind of say this sometimes on this podcast, but for real, like if it happened in like an action movie, you'd be like, this is a corny ass movie, like
Dude, it was like too perfect, and then also like he was out cold. Like he
yeah.
was out to where his eyes were open, but he wasn't there. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
and I thought it was really cool. Johns talked about that post fight, how he really didn't want to land like another shot because like he knew he was out, but like the name of the game, sometimes you like have to literally finish the guy. And so like you
Shout out,
saw
shout
like
out to Tyone, literally grabbing him immediately, and being like, "Hey, you don't need to hit him anymore."
yeah, because like you could tell he kind of paused at the top because he knocked him
Yeah,
out. He was still
absolutely.
standing, and then he like went like this, but like you could tell like even in real time, like he wasn't really trying to drop that hammer, but
He was
he was
about to
kind of
drop an
he was kind
8-foot
of
hammer
looking,
on him.
yeah, and he was kind of like looking at the ref, like you want me to do this or not, bro? Like this is on you if this happens.
It's
But
almost like gladiators. Like it was literally like looking at him, like, "Do I kill him, or are you just gonna say it was a good fight?"
yeah, and like I said, I'm totally fine with that stoppage. Natividad was fine with that
Mm-hmm.
stoppage because he didn't know where he
He
was.
didn't know where he was, so I think he's
Yeah.
fine with anything.
Yeah. So yeah, but man, terrific night to start off the prelims. Because like I said, I'll be completely upfront. I didn't really know. I don't think any single one of these guys. Granted, I have terrible name recall, but I remembered. I knew almost everybody on the main card.
Yeah.
But
Oh
like
yeah.
on the prelims, I don't think I recognized a single one of these guys. And
I
man,
I I probably knew five of these guys
oh man, what
out
a
of out
baller!
of out of out of the 12.
That's why I
Less than
keep you
half.
around, Harrison. No, man, but that's dope. But yeah, man. So Miles Johns looks phenomenal. It's kind of one of those things like you ask in these early prelim fights, like how was the level of competition, like how
Right.
good was Natividad? Uh,
Natividad's pretty good though, I will say. Like,
and Vegas had it close. Like it wasn't
yeah,
like a plus 300 or something. So like I mean, I think it's safe to say Johns just performed really well. Like I think that's safe to
yeah,
say.
and 135 like super deep, so it's not like he's gonna have trouble finding an opponent in there. No, it's not deep like 45 is, but 35 has like a top 10 to 15 that is pretty serious.
Yeah, or I mean, even like Johns is fucking really good, and he's unranked. Like he's really good. Like you just said, he's an
It's,
elite grappler with some pretty goddamn crisp
I mean,
striking,
yeah,
and
he's
he's
figuring
like
out his striking for
nowhere
sure.
near being ranked right now. So I mean, yeah, it's super deep division like we like to talk about. I'll go ahead and introduce the next fight. Will you
Sweet.
spark up that baseball bat
Oh,
over
I
there?
I didn't see I had the lighter on the camera.
There you go. But yeah, we had Dustin Jacoby versus Justin Ledet. Justin Jacoby was minus 370 favorite. Ledet was plus 290. Underdog. They're fighting at light heavyweight 205. And I mean, Vegas nailed this one on the head. It wasn't
This
really that close.
well, and stylistically, this was Justin Ledet 5-0 as a boxer. Like he
Yeah.
might just start doing boxing only instead. But then Dustin Jacoby's like a K1 kickboxer.
Yes.
It's exactly what you would expect a kickboxer to do to a boxer. Just start chopping the leg and make the boxer's guard drop and then flush him with strikes.
Yeah.
Although he didn't even need to make the guard drop because he literally put Ledet to the ground with leg kicks.
With only like three.
Brutal. Three.
Like,
But
yeah.
you could see that like the first one hit and like bent his knee in.
Yeah.
And he was like, that wasn't good. And then the second one hit and he was like, that's really bad. And the third one hit and he fell.
Yeah, and exactly. And then you just saw Jacoby was like, oh, bet. I'm going to fucking do this a couple more times.
Dude, also, what a savage is Jacoby that he drops in the leg kicks. The first thing he doesn't throw a punch. He kicks him again in the leg while he's down and then throws a punch.
And no, he told him to get up, and he did. He stood
That's
up,
right.
and
That's
then he
right.
threw
That's
an
right. He stood up on the
uppercut.
cage. That's right.
It was like the second uppercut in a row that we saw.
That was that
like,
weird like screw hook where he like
Yeah,
brought
oh,
it.
yeah.
It would look like a straight, but it was an underneath. Like
Yeah,
his hand was
yeah.
up underneath. It was super
Yes,
weird punch, but
yes.
super effective.
Yes, that was a much better description of it for sure. But yeah, he drops him with the leg kicks, essentially acknowledges like, dog, neither one of us are grapplers. Get your ass back up. And then he does. Ledet was like, yeah,
Ledet was like, cool, we'll strike.
Yeah,
Nope.
yeah, and then like immediately just gets like restarched. But yeah, man, I mean, Ledet like literally looked like a boxer that was in the octagon, which is exactly what he was.
But yeah, I
That
mean, I
does
think
that's not a path to
does
success in the UFC.
exactly doesn't bode well. You better at least be able to wrestle or do some jujitsu or something. If you can't kick. So yeah, he was just like quite literally one dimensional. Like in the most multi-dimensional sport, he was
I mean,
one
he
dimensional.
literally brought two weapons to an 8 weapon fight. You know what I'm saying? Like you
Yeah,
think about hands, elbows, knees, feet.
and that's
You
not even
only have
counting subs or wrestling or
right.
takedowns. That could be like an 11,
Yeah, you're talking like
weapon
50,
fight.
like 15 probable weapons you
And he
have as far
brought
as
two.
fighting, and he had two. Like you
Yeah,
just don't
yeah.
win fights doing that.
No, I think that's yeah. Anybody that's ever seen an MMA fight that knew these guys' background, I'm sure
And that is the title of the sport, right? Mixed martial arts.
Yeah, 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 for sure, man. Jacoby looked good, but like we said, it's his second run in the UFC. So I think there was like a 9 year gap between his
Yeah,
UFC fight. So,
last fought in 2011, like the December of 2011 or some shit
but
like
this
that.
whole time he's been taking kickboxing matches
Right,
and high
been
level
active.
kickboxing matches. He's been active. So, I mean, he even. I also thought it was kind of weird. He kept like calling himself a striker, like which is cool. Like, yeah, we get it, bro. You're a striker, but like he just overemphasized it. Like, yeah, like I'm not about to grapple at all. So it's just like it's hard to really get excited about him because
Yeah,
the minute anybody that took an eighth grade wrestling class gets in there with him, it's probably a wrap. So
it's like you're a 205. Oh, you're a striker. Cool. Here's Hermanson. Here's Gustafson. Here's guys that will take you to the ground and you'll never get up. Like if you're just a striker at 205, you don't see the top.
no, no, exactly. But I mean, he is a really good striker. But yeah, I mean, I'm good for him. He got his UFC win after 9 year hiatus. I mean, that's you kind of like to hear that story. He seemed like a really cool,
Seemed like a
humble,
cool
nice
dude,
guy. Yeah. So congratulations to him. You know what I'm saying? Definitely don't. Maybe hop back in the boxing ring
bro. I
for
mean, 5-0 in boxing, like just keep that on a
just keep
tear. Like
yeah, yeah.
if you get to like 18, 20 and 0 as boxing, you're fighting for a world title. And they give you like cans for the first 10 usually.
Yeah, yeah, and like I mean it's probably hard for a guy like that to turn down a UFC fight. You know what I mean?
I wonder
Just
what
off
weight he
like
fights at boxing because the heaviest boxing weight is 198, and then your heavyweight past that.
I bet I wouldn't have shot me. I mean 198 probably seems like a not too bad of a cut. Like
Probably a
because he
cruiserweight.
didn't look like he was like super like drawn out or anything. It looked like an easy cut for him.
Yeah, to be real.
But yeah, man, we'll keep it pushing, man. This next fight was pretty badass. Jason Witt
Super
versus
sweet.
Cole Williams.
Super
Witt was
sweet.
a minus 160 favorite. Williams plus 135 underdog. Welterweight bout at 170. Um,
Yep.
let
Oh,
me
I
ask
would
you
like.
this. Oh, go ahead,
I
brother.
was just going to note as well. You remember James Krause? We broke down on the breakdown 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, yeah.
He
What
was the
about him?
coach you could hear the whole time in Jason Witt's corner,
Oh, that was
the
him. Okay.
entirety of the time. He's a great coach. If you were listening to him, he like was really giving him good pointers.
That's dope. Yeah, man. There's certain guys that you can tell that just like are loud and kind of caught up in the moment are essentially being fans. Like certain coaches, like especially on the lower level prelim fights, you hear some of these yahoos just not shutting up. But that obviously was not one of those cases. It's nice when you actually get quality, especially right now with no fans. We can all hear it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, dude, Krause is like a chess master. Like he's always on like little small things like scoot your left knee up right to his side. Put your like elbow down over his shoulder. Like small shit, but it's like when you're
Very
in the fight, like
specific,
it's very specific and very straightforward. Like if I
easy
heard
to apply.
like put your elbow across his shoulder, boom, done.
Like some of the coaches just sound like little league dads. Like, yeah, give it to him this round. Like, what
Right,
the
like hit
fuck?
him with a four, then go five, and it's
Like,
like
what am I supposed to do with that? Like, go hard. Fucking shut up. But yeah, man. Let me ask you this: did you have round one as a 10-8?
mm-hmm.
You did.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah,
did.
yeah,
Hell
yeah.
yeah, I
Me
did because
too.
it was 4 minutes and 40 seconds of ground control, and and Williams got cut. I don't. Was that in the second round when he got cut?
No, it was the first
That was the
round. It
first.
was
Okay,
the
yeah.
first round. Yeah,
Yeah,
his
that cut
elbow
was
split his forehead. It was
brutal, dude.
so bloody, guys. Like it was so bloody for those that didn't watch the fight. It was so bloody. I think it was Bisping. He was like, "Well, folks, it is Halloween."
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it literally it
Dude,
looked
he was
like
painting.
wrestling fake blood. Like
He was
it was
painting the
sliding
canvas with his
around.
forehead. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was really gnarly. And then
A shout out
let's
to the cut man because he got the bleeding stopped immediately. I
yes,
was like
God level
shook.
cut, man. And yeah, I was
Yeah.
so too. And it was like, but I was still shocked that the doctor let the fight come on. So
I
like I said,
was too.
it was
I
a
was
dominant
too.
first round for Witt. There's a dominant first round for Witt. They go to the corners, and like I said, the cut man just fucking pulls off some wizardry, and somehow like this thing was literally looked like he got like cut with a knife.
It was like a
And
2 inch. It was deep.
it was
Dude,
so
deep.
wide and so big, and the cut man just crammed it full of Vaseline, and then like the doc was, and it was like this angle where the blood was like running off to the side. It was. I know
Right. It
that's a
wasn't
major
coming down his
factor.
face. It was coming off his face.
Yes,
Which
like
it's
that's a
huge
major
deal.
factor to the
Huge
doctors
deal.
whenever they
And
tried to call a fight.
it wasn't right over the eyebrow. It was actually up on the
On the
forehead.
forehead, yes.
So it wasn't going to push down into the eye socket
Yes,
because it was over the bone ridge. So
yeah, so all that factored in. So, I mean, about as bad of a cut as you'll ever see that doesn't get a fight stopped. Like, it's literally walked right up to the line, danced all around it, and then managed to stay on this side somehow.
That's probably the only place on your face you could get that cut and not have it stopped, lest it be below your cheek line.
Yeah, because like at first I was like, oh, this fight, like if I had to bet money, if there was like a live bet on whether or not this fight comes back for a second round, I mean, I would have bet the farm. You know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, this is a wrap. But then, like I said, between the wizardry of the cut man and just like very unique placement of the cut and everything, and honestly, let's be real, a pretty chill cut man. I mean, a pretty chill doctor.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what I meant to say. Like a pretty lenient
doctor
one.
didn't even come up and like get close. Like he kind of was like,
He was just like,
I don't see it pouring. We're good.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, we all knew that the second round wasn't gonna last long. I mean, at least I did. And then, but
you could tell it was dominance. It was just if Witt was going to go for the finish, or if he was just going to keep trying to win on like points and control.
And I thought it was kind of, I guess, if you want to say sportsmanlike or gentlemanly for Witt to get the submission finish, because if he wanted to be an asshole, he could have just gone to work on that cut. Like
absolutely,
he probably was tired of that guy's blood all over him. I know I would be, but yeah, like I said, I don't know. I want to believe that was sportsmanship there. He ended up getting the arm triangle pretty close, pretty quick in the second round. And like I said, we all knew the fight was over. It was just kind of a matter of how and when at that point.
Williams' jiu-jitsu was bad too. Like he didn't try to answer the phone to defend the arm triangle. He didn't try to like pop his hips underneath. Like,
do you think? I kind of got the vibe that it was just kind of like this like gentleman's agreement. Like, all right, let's go ahead and just wrap this up. Like, I mean, I don't know. That kind of attacks, Williams' character as a competitor. But I kind of got the vibe of just like, all right, y'all, go ahead and tap me and let me go ahead and get this stitch.
Yeah,
like I don't know,
let's
like let me
get out
catch
of here.
Check and get some stitches, and you know what I'm saying.
Well,
like,
funny though about the check too. Williams missed weight by 5.5 pounds.
Oh, I didn't even write that down. I didn't even realize that.
He weighed in at 175.5 for a 170.
Oh wow, Jesus. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot.
Like Kevin Holland, for instance, weighed in at fucking 182.
Yeah.
So like this dude was literally 6.5 pounds lighter. Right. Like he was the in-betweener of weights and got his ass whooped by a dude that made weight.
Yeah.
So he lost 40% of his purse now is what the weight deduction money is.
Oh, wow.
They increased it from 30 to 40 after Israel Adesanya was popping off about a month ago about that, which respect, like you probably 50% is like the real number that it's going to get to before that's like the agreed upon standard of like, if you don't make the weight, you lose half your money.
Yeah, man. It's always so tough because it's
and it goes to your opponent. You don't just lose it like it's not paid. Like
that's the part I like the most. I like that the most. Like if the UFC was just pocketing it, I'd be like, no, fuck that. But yeah, the fact that it goes to the other fighter is one of the more fair probably things in all of sports. Like I love that whole concept. Like it's very apples to apples, like makes sense. Like
right, like you're in a 1-on-1 with this guy and you're essentially cheating him. So like you're gonna get paid, or you're gonna earn less to do this now.
Yeah,
I like that. I agree with that.
Yeah, I'm totally on board with that. You want to go ahead and introduce this next one, buddy?
Yeah, man. So I loved this next fight. Loved it.
Yeah, this was a great
shit
fight.
Talking.
Yeah, that was fun.
Maybe also the greatest chin you've ever seen. So,
oh, hold on, bro. I think you froze up. No audio. Oh man. No audio. This is so random. Sorry, everybody. We're 22 episodes deep, and this is really the first time this has ever happened. But But yeah, thanks for just bearing with us. We'll get through this. And I'm sure Oklahoma's having a lot of bad storms and power outages. It would not shock me at all if this was somehow related to that. My buddy Harrison, he's doing this from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. I'm live from San Jose, California. We do this little cross country live. And yeah, he's gone. I have a feeling he's gonna get back on here in just a second. Maybe we'll reestablish connection. I'm gonna filibuster real quick and hit the old bong. This is actually some Mendo breath that I grew myself, so super proud of this. Tastes delicious. Proud of myself. Came out good. All right, let's see if he's back on here. It's all good, everybody. And he's back.
That was the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Instagram just paused my screen and said you weren't using the app. Video paused.
Yeah, that's good, but
Have you
it's
ever
all good.
seen that?
No, but
That
yeah,
was
this is
wild.
I mean, we're 22 episodes deep. I mean, I don't know how many hours deep, and that's the first time that's ever happened. So it's all good. I filibustered. I ripped some of this Mendo bread that I grew myself.
Yeah, oh yeah, I
And
could watch. I was watching. That's the crazy thing is my screen was just like on pause, and it was just like Instagram was like you weren't. It literally said you weren't using the app. Video paused until interaction, and I was like,
it's all good.
what?
Yeah, and anybody watching on YouTube or an audio platform or listening on an audio platform, we do these live on Instagram originally at Dreadful Talk Dom and at Harrison_Madden. And so if you ever want to watch live on Instagram, but you may have to deal with some of these technical difficulties, probably isn't the best time
Yeah.
to plug it. But it's all good. Give us a follow on Instagram. But it's all
Jack.
good, man.
So Jack Marshman plus
Yes,
300.
yes.
Sean
Yes,
Strickland minus 380. Fights at 185. We're back. So Sean Strickland is just like he's 2 years out of a fight from a motorcycle accident, which he like hurt his knee real bad, like lost a piece of his kneecap. So like he seemed super focused though. Like his focus was like laser focused.
Whenever
And he
guys have that long absence, it seems like it's either one extreme or the other. They either come back looking better than ever, like I'm slipping my head, Brian Ortega.
Yeah.
Right? Like he came back looking better than ever, reinvigorated.
T-City, baby.
Or you come back just complete ring rust, just maybe you don't even have the fire in you anymore. I feel like it's one or the other. I feel like guys rarely come back from a multi-year hiatus and are just like okay, like they either are fully ass or they're like better than ever. I feel like.
Yeah, no, that's about right. And like Strickland, honestly, was the former of those two where he looked really good. I mean, first round for me was 10-9. I thought that was Marshman's best round as far as like competitiveness. So
yeah. And Marshman's best round, I think, only for the reason that he didn't have the chance to wear the damage yet, because it looked kind of similar to the rest of the rounds. It just he had more damage on and it just looked sloppier, and his cardio was worse as further the fight went on. Yeah, man, Strickland. I mean, just way better shape, way more technical, way
his
more
cardio
precise.
was crazy.
Yeah, it was like it was honestly a terrible matchup for Marshman. Like, I mean that because it's like Marshman's cardio was terrible. He was real doughy in the middle. This guy was jacked and could go all day. Marshman's just like a real brawler, swing from the hip, like not a big technique guy. And Strickland's a throw him down the pipe, nice and tight and crisp kind of guy. And I don't know, it was pretty much all Strickland for me.
Yeah, I mean, I ended up scoring at 30-27, which all the judges do as well. But I think what's most notable about this fight is that Sean Strickland talked the most shit I've ever seen anyone talk ever. He was yelling at the dude, hitting him with 1-2s and going, "Just go down, Jack."
He made Kevin Holland look like a church mouse.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
he was yelling at him like, "Jesus Christ, your chin is insane!" Like he was like saying shit like that to him in the octagon.
Yeah, it was really fun. It really was. He was like, "Just go down," and it got to the point. It was so entertaining that the broadcast literally, I think they said like, "We're just gonna shut up."
Yeah, they were like, when they start going off, we'll just let you guys hear the gnat sound.
Yeah, and I'm glad they did. Honestly, man, it was phenomenal. It was entertaining. It was, I don't know, man. I liked it. I did like it. I don't know, man. Like I said, I wish Marshman would have been able to make it a little more interesting. It would have been able to. It was kind of because Marshman was just losing so bad. It kind of felt like I was watching
It,
somebody get bullied. Like
it's just an
it
ass whooping in which a guy
was.
was. It was almost like though it looked like the kid that like learned how to fight, and then the bully at the school because like Marshman's build and like tattoos were whack as shit, and then Strickland looked like no tats, like really well built, and it was almost like he was like getting revenge for all the kids.
Yeah, no,
Like,
that's
yeah,
like,
talk your shit. Come on.
yeah, no, seriously, and just, but yeah, it's like I was like, is this cyberbullying? Because I'm watching this on ESPN Plus right now. Like, but yeah, man. So it was really entertaining. Not so much the fight. The fight was super one-sided, but like sometimes there's shit outside of the X's and O's that make a fight exciting, and the shit talking was just unquestionably entertaining, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, unanimous 30-27. That's exactly what I scored it. Zero controversy there.
Yeah.
Shout out to Marshman's chin. Like it was real. Like the shots he ate from a 185er. Like the fight almost looked. The shots he was eating would have made sense if they were like, flyweights or bantamweights. But
Right. That's what I kept thinking. At 185, how can you eat these shots?
yeah, yeah, and he was definitely beefy himself, so he had some girth, kind of providing support. But yeah, man, Marshman looked like shit. Strickland looked really great. Kind of I'll be real. I kind of get the vibe that the UFC tossed him that one for his return. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
they did him a solid.
I mean, minus 380.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, it'd be really interesting to see him against a ratcheted up level competition. He has his legs back under him, both, figuratively and literally. And, yeah, it'd be exciting, 185 to look at going forward. 185 isn't as congested as, like, say, 45 or 55 or 35. So, when guys ball out in 85, it can sometimes make for a quicker ascension. But
Yeah.
not jumping the gun. I'm just stating that fact. Strickland looked really good. Like he said, his cardio looked like he could go all damn day. His striking was super crispy. And yeah, we'll keep it pushing. But yeah, Strickland looked great, especially off a 2-year hiatus.
Yeah, I would say that's the biggest notes for me moving out is that like he's entertaining to watch and he looks great after a 2-year layoff. So I think that like he's in a good mental space and like the break was good for him.
Yeah, for sure, man. And man, this next fight, man, I think we got a new star on our hands,
Well,
bro.
Yanez is one of the dudes I knew about coming
Yeah.
into it.
Okay.
Him and Alexander Hernandez are both guys. Hernandez way more notably, but
So
Yanez,
Yanez, I gotta say, I don't want to say I knew about him, but like I had seen other people talking about him. I follow a lot of
Right,
social media, MMA pages.
That's
and
what
shit, so.
I'm saying. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like I've seen
so
one
the
fight of his
name,
before.
the name looked like familiar, but like I'm not like familiar with him like that. Like now, I guess I kind of am. But yeah, man.
Right.
Go. We had Adrian Yanez versus Victor Rodriguez. This is one of the many giant money line spreads on this card.
There was there. I guess we'll get to the upset of the night, but I didn't agree with it at all. We'll get to it.
We can't wait to get to it.
But yeah, I think everything else was chalk.
Yeah, there's a lot of chalk, and just because there's a lot of giant money lines. So Yanez was minus 490, and then Rodriguez plus 370. They're fighting at bantamweight 135, and this fight was over super quickly. Yanez landed a brutal left head kick, and it was gorgeous. It just put him down clean.
It literally looked like a movie.
Yeah, there was no finishing blows needed. Like this was a KO, not a TKO. I know we love splitting that hair here on Beefy Boys Breakdown, but this was a KO.
Funny enough that you say that, dude. In my notes, anytime someone actually gets KO'd, like there are no necessary, like the ref isn't pulling him off because it's just defended strikes.
Obvious, yeah.
That we had in the prelims McGee, 4 real KOs.
Yeah, these prelims were so dope, and it was cool because right before the prelims came on, I made this post on my Instagram story. I was like, watch these prelims, so catch Beefy Boys tomorrow, all that usual stuff. But then I was like, I'm not super familiar with these guys, but don't let that stop you from watching them because that's how you learn about all the dope new fighters and maybe even your new favorite fighter. Like I think that's how the first time I saw O'Malley, I think was on like some prelim
That
and like
and like prelims, you usually get like the DWCS Dana White's Contender Series
I think
guys up there.
the first Kamzat fight I think was a prelim. I'm pretty sure.
Absolutely, it was. It was one of
So
the first two of the night. One of the first two of the night.
yeah, so I mean, God damn it, folks. I mean, I know I'm prelims McGee. I wear it proudly, but like, there's a
I
reason,
mean,
man. It
that's
was
where you see
amazing.
stars be born, like for
And,
real, dude.
and kind of smooth transition here. Yanez may be that next name that like is the hot.
Dude,
I
the
can see
fact
him being the hot name like in a lot of MMA circles.
he looked so calm the whole fight, I was really impressed. Like he never looked like he was like rushed at any point or that he was trying to rush the finish. And the finish was great because it was like they were kind of feinting along the cage. He had Victor Rodriguez's back pressed up against the cage, and Rodriguez thought he could just kind of step to the side and walk out, circle out. Yanez knew he was going to do that the whole time because as soon as Rodriguez dips to the left to go back right, you see Yanez bring his hip back. Like he knew. He knew.
Man, anytime you can get a head kick clean knockout
On the chin with your foot.
from like a prospect, I mean, it's hard not to get really excited because like that's so high level. Like that's
Right.
still like that's not just a some strong Brutus former football player that just starts with somebody with a counter punch like at the
Greg Hardy.
and like maybe a Freudian slip there, but
Yeah.
like but you get what I'm saying. Like, sometimes you get these your prelim knockouts or whatever, and it's just some athlete or some guy gets like the right timing punch or whatever. But there's nothing fluky about the way he placed that head kick, just fluidly and accurately. Like
I was gonna say the
high
precision.
level as fuck. Yeah, the precision.
Like it was like a picture perfect because from the one camera angle, like literally Rodriguez turns and like starts to like jog out and just eats a kick and drops, and you're just like,
Well, especially
"Oh."
after we had just watched jokers like Marshman and fucking Ledet and these kind of like lower skilled guys, and then so this head kick and just Yanez's fluidity and skill just jumped off the screen to me. It was something different. It's like when I know I make this comparison all the time, but it's like when you watch the ball leave Patrick Mahomes' hand, it looks different than every other quarterback that you've ever watched throw a football, maybe with the exception of like Brett Favre or like Elway. Like there's these certain guys, like the ball jumps out and it's just like an eye test. Like it's just an eye test thing that you can't.
Or like Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson, like they have this weird arc. Like when you see their ball come out and down, like it like literally comes over the receiver into his hands.
And it's just obviously different than what other players of their position are able to do. And that's the comparison I'm making here. We had just watched a bunch of prelim fights, some good fights and a few lower level guys. And this is just like, I was like, whoa, this is different than everything else we just watched. So I just wanted to just kind of emphasize that.
And to bring it back full circle to our earlier conversation, 135 again here. Like this weight class is getting loaded from the back end, which is scary because it's already thick at the top.
Yeah, it's already thick in the top. Yeah, man, if you're an older bantamweight right now, you got to be fucking sweating a little bit, right? Like if you've just been kind of maintaining, been one of those guys that's just been kind of riding the top 10, fighting once a year.
I think we're starting to see like next gen MMA, like dudes our age that have been doing it since they saw Anderson Silva do it when they were 12 or 13, and like they've now been in the sport for 12 years. Like they're actually becoming more in the sport than they are like any other sport they've ever done. So
yeah, it's definitely MMA is like this, bro. Just the amount of people doing, the amount of gyms open, the accessibility, the popularity of fans.
Also, the application to real life situation brings people that you would never think would do it, and those people are found in like diamonds in the rough, essentially. You know what I'm saying? Like a jiu-jitsu master doesn't necessarily have to be the most athletic person.
Yeah, or there's people like, and we'll get to him later, but the crochet boss, he just went to like a gym to like, he was like super obese, and he just wanted to get healthy and kind of get his shit together, and now he's in the UFC. So we'll get there though. We got, let me see, this is the last featured prelim, brother. This is, man, another fucking lion feeding.
Alexander Hernandez at minus 420 versus Chris Gritzmacher at plus 330. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, well, his nickname is Grits. Chris Gritzmacher. So, like, he gives you the title.
Gives you a hint.
I would have said Gritzmacher if I was trying to go phonetically.
I'd still be trying to pronounce it. I'd still be stuttering, but way to knock that out of the park.
Appreciate it. So they're fighting at 155. Most people would know Alexander Hernandez if they did know him already from the Don Cerrone fight. He
Oh, he
lost to
did fight,
Cerrone,
yeah.
but put up a really good match against him. It was just probably a little too much for him at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a
pretty
that's a
obviously, right? Like
like
that's
but
crazy.
Cerrone was like not looking great at that time and
But like also Hernandez was coming off a knockout of Bilal Muhammad, so like
yeah,
he
that's
has
right.
really quality wins. He has really quality
When they
wins.
haven't given him any easy fights at all, I
No,
guess until they maybe
yeah,
that's what happened tonight.
this is the
Maybe they're
easiest
like,
fight
all
he's
right,
had
dog,
matchup wise too.
we put you through the ringer. Like they have. I think that's what happened here.
I
I
think
don't think it's wrong. I think he earned an
no,
easy fight.
I agree, and I think Gritzmacher was like a dude that has like legit skill and like has some threat. Like the odds aren't like super terrible. Like they're bad, but they're not like walking out. You're like, well, this is. I mean, line feeding, but it's not like it's not
Well,
like the goat to the T Rex in Jurassic Park, right? Like
yeah.
there's a small difference,
The Gritzmacher, he was another guy coming off a long hiatus, right? Correct me if I'm
right?
wrong, but
Yeah,
he was
that's
out
correct.
because of knee surgery or some shit. So
Yeah,
another one of those stories. I mean, that's kind of a common thing. I mean, they definitely didn't do him any favors, but I would have rather the UFC did Hernandez a favor than Gritzmacher a favor. Like I don't know, like I don't
he
know.
ate that head kick so hard.
Yes,
So hard.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
first
he
round was
did.
just a clinic, you know what I'm saying? Like it was all Hernandez.
All
Anything he
Hernandez.
wanted. He controlled the distance. He was in and out super, super well. He was faster, he was stronger, he was longer. There was no point in which I even thought he was in any danger.
No, no, but you're right. So he landed a head kick, which would have knocked out like
Yeah,
90% of
shout out to
dudes. Like,
Gritzmacher's chin.
but it ended up being the setup. Like, it ended up being the hockey assist to the eventual goal. That was the like, but because shortly after the head kick dazed him, and then he finished him off with like standing punches like
Yeah.
shortly thereafter. But technically, Gritzmacher ate the kick, and like I said, I mean. It probably would have been better for both of them if he just would have gone to sleep on the kick. But
Right. I thought about that. Like, damn man, you ate the kick to be tough and then ate a 7-piece combo to put your lights out. Like, did you pay money for the combo? How was it?
yeah, and like it probably cost Hernandez, maybe a performance bonus or maybe not. I didn't even look who got the
I
performance
should have
bonus.
looked, but there were so like I wondered how Dana was gonna pick
There was so many.
bonuses.
Yeah,
Right.
like
I'll look it up in
needs to be
between the
like,
episodes.
okay, good looking now. It'd be like Oprah Winfrey, just fucking, you get a bonus, you get a
Yeah.
bonus. Everybody. I
Right.
mean, a
Like,
lot
did
of
he hand
people
out
earned them.
6? Because there were 4 like you know what I'm saying, lights out KOs last night.
Yeah, yeah, for
In the
real.
prelims, not even to count the main card. Like,
Exactly. So amazing prelims, folks. Like if there was ever an example for you to watch like random cards and prelims of random cards, it would be this. And
yeah.
yeah, I mean, so he ends up getting the technical knockout. Alexander Hernandez looks phenomenal. Like I said, kind of hard to gauge the opponent, but with a guy like Hernandez, doesn't really need to gauge the opponent because we've already seen him battle tested against hard opponents. So, like I said, I'm
True.
actually
Great
all
point. Great
yeah.
point.
Yeah. So I'm actually all for him, kind of like I said, him getting a little, notch in the belt, kind of getting what some may call an easy victory, and keeping it pushing because he definitely went through the fucking fire before this matchup.
How much time do we have left on this episode right now?
15 minutes, I want to say, give or take.
Cool. All right, let me ask you one question before, and then we'll wrap
Yeah.
it up because
No,
this
yeah,
just
you're good,
applies
bro.
to so about the 155 division. I had a guy I work with ask me this at work, so I thought bring it up on the podcast. Right? He asked me after Khabib's win on Thursday when I saw him last, I believe it was. What do you do with the 155 division? The belt is now open, obviously.
But
You have
Dana's
Gaethje.
saying that it's not though. Dana's
I've
going
heard all
out of his
that.
way. I mean, is that you're saying that's propaganda? Like,
The
is
the
that
30 and
coming
0.
from
You're talking
Dana,
about the
not
30 and 0.
Khabib's? Yeah, Dana's all in on that. I mean, he even, I think, officially said that the title's not even vacant right now. He said Khabib still is the 155 title holder. I think.
Listen, he can say that all he wants, but until Habib comes out and says, I'm not retired, because he said, in the octagon, this is my last fight. When a guy says that, he's retired.
And he said
Until
it
he
was for
doesn't
his
say it.
mother.
Right, like he was
And
on
it's
some
Khabib.
real
Like
shit.
if
Took
Conor
off his
McGregor said it,
gloves.
I'd be like, yeah, whatever. They offer him a check, he's coming back. But Habib's
Right.
not one of those guys.
He's a man of honor, not of
Yeah,
money.
yeah. So I feel you, bro, but it's just really so we kind of have to like set a pretense here, like set the context.
Okay, on the pretense he is retired.
He is retired. Okay, because
Right.
Dana will argue till he's blue in the face that
Well,
he's not. But I got you for the sake of this argument.
Here's what I think the best money move is anyway is let him be retired, take the title, let these other 4 that I'm about to name duke it out, 5 actually, duke it out, and then bring Habib back to fight the ultimate challenger for 30-0. Like that's the sell. That's the sell. But check it out. There's 5 names I'm going to give you, and just tell me how you want to match them up because I don't think there's any wrong order. Right? Okay. Tony Ferguson, Conor McGregor, Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, Michael Chandler.
That's so fun. That's so
What do we do?
fun.
What do we do?
You want to know? You want me to come with a spicy take?
Just take him up.
Spicy take? I think I might rank Gaethje last in that group.
What? I might
really
too,
might.
though. I might.
I really, if you
him
think
and Michael
about it-
Chandler, because I don't know about Michael Chandler versus UFC guys, but like I think Michael Chandler's legit.
I'll be real, bro. I'm operating under the pretense of buying the Michael Chandler hype. Like,
Me too.
I don't think.
I think he's legit as hell.
I don't think the UFC would like whiff this hard. They're hyping him up hard.
He's good. He's so good, dude. They've been trying to get him for 3 or 4 years now.
Bro, I think we're gonna see a new Conor. I think people thought have 170 Conor and like boxing Mayweather.
Oh,
Conor
I think Conor is
like,
way better now.
155 MMA Conor, like I'm all in on.
Yeah, me too.
You know, and actually, you know who I may be. You know what? I'm capping. I think Poirier's at the bottom of that list for me.
Poirier?
Who's
Where's
at
Ferguson?
the bottom for you?
Where's
Ferguson? It sounds like you're saying Ferguson. To me, Ferguson's not at my bottom just because, and maybe it's all hype, and maybe I just heard Joe Rogan talk about his cardio, just one too many blunts worth. But like, I don't know. You hear all these like Bo Jackson stories about fucking Tony Ferguson's like freakishness.
No,
I just don't want to put that guy at the bottom of my list.
If you're asking me to go 1 through 5 on those guys, I'm gonna put Conor at 1. I'm gonna put. Yeah, I'm gonna
spicy.
put. Well, I'll explain it. I'll explain it if you want. I have like a reasoning. I'm gonna put Poirier at 2. I'm gonna put Ferguson at 3. I'm gonna put Chandler at 4 and Gaethje at 5. Chandler can move up and down freely more than those guys can
Gaethje,
because I haven't seen him.
That's so crazy because Gaethje was just the interim champion. He was just
Gaethje just beat Ferguson. He just beat Ferguson. How can I put Ferguson over Gaethje when that just happened? Because in the matchup with all the rest of them, Ferguson lines up better than Gaethje. That's why I do that.
Engage it in me, like, and I know Khabib will make almost anybody look bad. Khabib made Conor look terrible, so like if we're
Conor won a round off of him.
Yeah,
actually, 2 out of the 3 judges. Do you know this? Scored the first round for Gaethje in the Khabib fight.
Really, that's interesting.
He technically lost the first round. I disagree entirely, but
man, it's so hard, man, and it's so hard. But that your question wasn't to rank him. Your question was to match him up.
Yeah, correct. I was gonna. I'm so happy you realized that because I was about to come with the heat again.
Yeah. The fucking. So I mean, McGregor and Poirier is like already matched up. So like, I guess I'll just leave that one. I'm cool with that one.
Is that for the title? Who fights for the title? Because that's a part of the matchups too. Is like, what's the title fight?
That's another reason why Dana's not wanting to vacate that title yet. Because I don't think he wants that fight to be for the title. But I think he wants that fight to be a big ass pay-per-view.
I agree. I think Dana's making the rightest moves he can.
And you know what I would like to see right now? You know what? Let's let Gaethje rest up. I mean, I know he's fine, but he just fought sooner than all these other guys, right? Let's do McGregor Poirier, because that's essentially already in the works. And then I like fucking Chandler Ferguson.
Me too.
It's like the 2 unknowns, right? Like Ferguson's an unknown as far as he lost to Gaethje and he has like some injury issues. And then Chandler, coming from the other promotion, it's kind of like the both have like insane ceilings, but like a wide, or potentially low floors. And it's like, I think that's the matchup. I don't know. That's an interesting.
Let me give you a super spicy alternative.
Okay.
Conor Tony, because Tony's been talking shit about Conor for years. You have Poirier fight Chandler because I think Conor would beat Tony, and I think Poirier beats Chandler. Maybe not. I don't know. Either way, in that fight, doesn't matter because. But now here's why it doesn't matter because you get Conor Poirier 2, which is easily marketable, or you get Conor Chandler, which is like super marketable because you're talking about this guy just came over, beat one of the top flight contenders in the weight class at 155, and is the former champion, and is 23-0 or 23-1. And it's like Conor could fight him. Like that's a huge, easy, sellable fight for the interim belt. Then
You know what I would
but
like?
where's Gaethje in that title or in all that?
I think Gaethje has to be like a first round bye type of like because it's a 5-man, right? You know, you can't. Somebody's got to get a first round bye if it's 2 versus 2 and it's 5 people.
Dude, to be honest, I would like to see Poirier get the bye and just go Conor versus Chandler. This sounds fucked
Gaethje
up.
fought the most recently though. So
I want to see Gaethje fight Ferguson. They're savages.
Yeah, that's the thing too, is that all of those guys, not maybe, all those guys. Ooh, I just thought of something spicy too. Like McGregor by far has the worst cardio out of all those guys.
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
By a mile.
Well, if they're 3-round fights, that benefits McGregor hard.
Hard, but if it's for the belt, which is what all this is leading up to,
Right.
then McGregor, dude, it would be the classic example, like say McGregor's fighting Ferguson. It's the classic example. If it goes into the championship rounds, Ferguson probably wins. But if McGregor would have to get the early
McGregor
knockout.
starches him because Ferguson eats shots.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, and like
good matchup.
You know
easy to sell too, man.
You know what's an interesting matchup that we haven't talked about yet either is McGregor Gaethje, because I think Gaethje's strength is more like Gaethje has pipes, bro. Like Gaethje's arms, like I don't know, man. Like I think
that's the worst fight for Gaethje, if you ask me.
That's the worst fight for Gaethje
because Gaethje won't take him down. Gaethje has great takedown defense for the most part, but Conor doesn't want to take you down anyway.
Yeah.
So Gaethje wants to stand and strike. Conor would prefer to stand and strike every fight. And he's just probably the best striker at 55. Like soul, pure striking, Conor's probably the best striker.
And be real, feel free to educate me. Is Chandler more of a wrestler or a striker?
He can do both. D1 wrestler with incredible striking.
Wow.
Like he's this like super explosive athlete that was also like all-American wrestler.
Yeah, he looks like a stud.
Like Michael Chandler, his one loss is the fight. Did he lose that fight? I can't remember. I'm pretty sure he did. Lost a fight for the belt in Bellator when he was defending it. Whenever he got kicked in the, he had a low calf kick. Same thing happened to O'Malley. He just like the nerve died in his leg and he couldn't walk. And the dude essentially got him down and just started peppering with punches. And he had to shell up, and the ref stopped TKO. And then he beat that dude in 4 rounds the next time they fought. So.
Okay. Man, yes, that's but god damn it, what a good problem to have for the UFC.
Yeah, the 55 question was great. That's why I had to ask you, because I was like, it was making my brain hurt too.
All right, so we have, I think, 5 more minutes. I just want to play the flip side of that scenario. Let's operate.
Habib is not retired.
Yes, and somebody has to fight him for the belt.
He's going to sit for probably 1 fight. Like, what's the first? Because they're going to fight. Like, these guys have to fight before Habib. He just fought last. Gaethje just fought last. Totally. So take it. So in that sense, take it as the 4 guys. Take Gaethje out of the back. What's the matchups in the 4 guys?
It has to. Well, and like I said, I mean, it'd be probably more fun to have this conversation if the McGregor Poirier fight wasn't so far down the road, because that seems like that's actually going to really happen. So that kind of ties our hands a little bit for the sake of this conversation. So I mean, at that point, it has to be McGregor Poirier and then Chandler Ferguson, right? I mean that's all. That's okay, the remaining.
And then would you say the winner of Chandler Ferguson gets Gaethje and the winner of Poirier McGregor gets Habib, and then it's essentially then it's from there going to be whatever it is from there. Like Chandler's going to be 1 fight away from the title shot. Like he would get the next shot at that point.
I think what I would like to see, and I guess I'm going full basketball tournament mode, is the winner. Hold on, say your scenario one more time for me, and then I'm gonna counter it.
Okay, so my scenario is that Conor fights Poirier and Ferguson fights Chandler. The winner of Chandler Ferguson gets to fight Gaethje. And then the winner of Conor Poirier gets Habib.
No, the winner of Conor Poirier gets the winner of Gaethje versus the winner of Ferguson Chandler. And because Habib likes to wait a long time between fights. I
Yeah, he
don't think
does.
he would have any problem. I think that could all play out in 2021. Like from between now and 2021, the end of 2021, all of those scenarios could all play out, even on a couple different pay-per-views. There's plenty of time. And then Habib comes back for fight 30 in 2022, like off the top rope, like after all the fucking sand is shifted and settled, and there's fucking one guy remaining. And
I
here
mean,
comes
you
Habib.
know what the UFC wants though. From like, if we were talking about us making money, you want Conor to fight Khabib for 30-0. That's what you want, because the money you'll make is just like you'd be drowning in dollars.
Or if we're going full optimist, full greed, you could say though the other scenario presents like three Connor fights
Well, you want, no,
potentially,
but I'm
and
saying
then
you want Conor to fight as much as possible, no matter
yeah,
what, because
that's
he's
what.
always money.
Yeah.
But him and
So
Habib or him and Nate is like ultra money.
yeah. But I'm saying like I think you could have your cake and eat it too. You could get like potentially three Connor pay-per-views before you get the Connor Habib mega
And
pay-per-view.
the Conor Poirier fight is super marketable too.
But the obvious elephant in the room risk is that if McGregor
Poirier wins,
loses,
right?
then you never get the Habib McGregor really ultra fight. At
I mean,
that point,
if he lost to Dustin Poirier, he'd probably retire.
that's what I'm saying, bro. That you would never get you would never.
But why is he
So
willing to take the fight? He must really think he can beat Dustin Poirier, and I
and
think he can
that's what
too.
makes me so excited.
Yeah,
That's what makes
yeah,
me so
yeah.
excited because man, at the heart of it, man, I'm a big McGregor fan. Like I
Me
said,
too. He puts on
Anderson
too good of a show.
Silva
He
and
puts on so
Rashad
good of a
Evans.
show.
Lyoto Machida, like that generation is how I first got introduced to mixed martial arts. But when I truly fell in love was the McGregor rise. That
Yeah,
I
the Conor Rousey era.
man, call me, say whatever you want to about that. I know some old heads won't like that, but I'm being honest
Fine.
here. That's whenever I went like balls deep. You know what I'm
DC
saying?
DC and Ariel Helwani 2 weeks ago had an argument about, is Conor bigger than the UFC? Like, is his brand actually larger than the UFC? It's close. It's close.
Close.
So,
Really?
which is
I think it's
scary to
bigger than
think.
Bellator.
Fuck yeah, it is. He could
Which
sell
is
more
crazy.
tickets than a Bellator event could.
Yeah,
Like,
for
him
sure.
singly fighting one person would sell more
Even in
tickets
like a boxing match.
or more pay-per-views than like a whole Bellator fight card. So
Totally.
that'd be Bellator. No offense.
Yeah, and then see, I'll be real, man. Like I'd be like wanting to like Bellator. I just only have so much bandwidth. Like I only have so much bandwidth. I'm trying
Me
to learn
too.
all these UFC
So much
fighters.
time in a day, man.
Yeah, like I
We
mean,
got 600 UFC fighters I got to learn. Like,
like,
I'll just keep tabs on the other guys while I
y-
really get in depth on these guys.
yeah, man, and like I mean, I still like my traditional sports. I like to watch some football and some basketball and some baseball, and I like to
Yeah.
skateboard. So it's like, man, honestly, like I'm cool on like not being an expert on Bellator. Like say what you will about it. I'm you know what I mean. But yeah, that was a really fun first hour, man.
Man, this Beefy Boys Breakdown, episode 22. We're covering UFC Vegas 12, Silva versus Hall. And this is going to be the main card segment of the podcast. If you want to, we already just went over the prelims, and then we dived into this crowded lightweight division, the top end of it, especially, with Habib may or may not being retired, who knows on that. But let me get Harrison back on here, and we'll get to this main card. And yes, I got a scratch on my nose, so yeah.
What
My
up?
guy.
We're back. We're back at him.
Oh man, I got to pace myself after last week, man. I got to drink some water.
Man, I brought up the Corona premiere this time.
Oh, there you go, man. Is that three different drinks? My man just got like a fucking rotation over here.
A fourth one ready.
Oh my God, variety hour over here.
I actually have two other kinds in the fridge. I had a Halloween party the 30th of October, so like we just got blasted full of beers and different kinds of shit. So
Hell yeah, man. And I just want to say to anybody, if you've never smoked some shit you grew out of a freshly cleaned bong, then man, get your shit together.
What a
Man.
flex! What a flex!
Oh man,
What a
so
way
I
to
had to.
start! What a way to
I
start!
had
Welcome
to,
to the
man.
main card, Anderson
Main
Silva,
card
Uriah
time,
Hall.
and then yeah,
Hey, this first
Anderson
decision's
Silva,
bullshit.
bullshit. Yeah, I was actually so curious to see if you thought it was bullshit too.
Bullshit. I damn near
Kent,
scored it
I was
fucking
talking to our
30-27.
I was talking to our mutual friend Kenneth about it, like during the fights live,
Yeah.
and he was like saying, "Oh, well, I can kind of see it," and I was like, "Hell no, fool, that was bullshit." Like,
Dude, when Kenneth gets the main card, like he gets too deep on the whisk, and like he'll start being a UFC judge. It's crazy type shit. It's crazy type shit.
I have been there. I'd like to say I haven't, but I've been
So
there.
okay, so what we're talking about though is Bobby Green versus Thiago Moises at 155. Bobby Green, been on the breakdown 3 times already. This is his 4th time. Love Bobby Green. He's
Yeah,
the
we're big
dopest,
fans.
bro.
And he happens to look a lot like my good friend Rico. like we have
Yeah,
a
if
friend
Rico
that looks
tats his
like
dome, it's Bobby
just
Green.
like Bobby. Like it was
It's
like
like it's insane,
it's
bro.
insane
Their
how much
beard
he
grows the
looks like
same.
them. Like they look so much the same. They're
Loki
even
has me.
built the same.
Yeah, like all shoulders. You know what I'm saying? Chest to shoulders, big like
Yeah.
above. Yeah, it's. Shout out Rico. Shout
Yeah,
out
shout out
HP.
Rico, man. We love you, man. I think it goes by Suave now. Check out his
Suave.
music.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, man. Great lightweight matchup. Like I said, Bobby Green stays insanely active. Bobby Green was actually the minus 310 favorite. Moises was plus 250 underdog.
Yep.
Um,
Bobby Green's super fun to watch. He always carries his hands right at his waist,
yes, it's
never above.
crazy. Like kind of Diaz-ish, a little
Fights
bit
like he's
Diaz-ish.
flexing at you
Like
the whole time. Like
yeah,
will
he's
literally
like
rock his shoulders forward and like put his neck up and just like bow at you.
yeah. He fights like literally like he's fighting in like the middle of like an apartment complex. Like,
Like
but
wild
it's
style
effective.
shit.
It's effective
It
enough
works well
time.
because it's
And his
hard to see
cardio's
punch.
really well.
You know what's crazy about it is like they talk about it sometimes in the broadcast. It's like DC especially. When guys keep their hands at their hips, it's hard to see their punches coming because you're not watching their hips for their punches to come. Whenever most guys guard up here, you can watch their shoulders, their hands,
It's
see it coming.
identical to a pitcher's arm slot. Like
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a baseball
The
aficionado,
sidearm
but like
pitchers are fucked up.
it fucks with like the angle that your
The
eye
release,
sees
the
the
launch
ball
angle.
coming. Yeah, all of that shit. And it's the same in fighting and boxing. With guys that have their hands low or throw from crazy angles, it creates the same effect as like a sidearm pitcher. So yeah. And then let's go round by round because this fight is controversial. Me and Harrison both disagree with the judges' decisions on this one. Bobby Green was on Instagram all night saying he got robbed and that it was bullshit.
Good for him because he
Yeah,
did get fucking robbed.
he did get robbed. Yeah. So like I said, I want to go round by round because like I said, we both disagree. It's kind of controversial.
Like most times I say not a robbery on a 29-28 by the judges. That's a fucking robbery right here, dog.
No, I feel you. So round one, I literally what I have written down in my notes for round one. Green striking greater than Moises' takedown. Because Moises did get that takedown, and I'm guessing maybe a judge like gave him the round because of it.
But Bobby Green got into north-south and reversed the position and actually had more top control time.
Oh, I'm just trying to like come up with something because I thought Bobby Green clearly won the fight. So like I said, Moises did get a takedown. In
2 of those
round.
judges gave the first round to Thiago Moises, by the way, if you haven't seen scorecards for that fight.
I have. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I guess those judges gave it to him. It had to be because of the takedown because it wasn't the striking.
Ridiculous.
Green was killing him on the feet.
Was killing him.
He got the one takedown that he did nothing with and got reversed. And I guess some judges, that's what I'm saying. Some judges just get fucking hard-ons for takedowns. Like, you know what I'm saying?
But Green got a takedown in the second. I mean, I guess they all scored the second. The second round, all judges scored for Mo Green.
That's what I'm saying. The first
not
round
true, actually. Not true. One judge scored it from Moises. One judge scored it.
It shows how, see, but I don't even disagree. I don't even agree that it was this confusing of a fight. Like, we've had a lot of
that's why
fights
I'm saying it's a robbery.
It's bullshit because there's a lot of fights where me and Harrison both looked at y'all and we said, look, like I disagree, but it was a close round. It could have gone either way. Like I'm not saying it was a landslide. Like, it was a close fight. Like even Bobby Green on his Instagram was like, it was a close. I'm not saying it wasn't.
The second
close,
round was the closest. No, the third round was the closest. Maybe. Second and third were close each. But even if you go 50-50 there, I think the first round was obviously Bobby Green. Like, when they said all judges scored unanimous 29-28, I was like, oh, Bobby Green for sure. I was about to underline his name and write the shit out. And then they said Moises, and Bobby Green was like, what? And I was
Yeah,
like, I was right there with him. Like
me
my brain
too.
said what he said out loud. Like,
Me,
huh?
me too. We were all on the exact same page. Especially because so let's dive into round two a little bit. Green had a takedown. He defended like a pretty tight submission attempt. Like he got out of that, and then he was killing him on the feet. Like there was, I don't feel like Moises won on the feet in any round.
No, I literally said in my notes like I had it 20-18 going through the second round,
Me too. I had
and
round
then
one, 10-9 Green, round two, 10-9 Green, just
okay,
like you.
perfect. We scored the same, and then I said I did note in the second round, not mad if you have it 19-19 at this point.
I am though, because like what round is it?
The second. I'm saying the second. Like second's close.
Because of the submission attempt, or like what did Moises do in the second round? I know
The
he got the
striking was
submission
closer
attempt.
in numbers. Like it wasn't
Yeah,
as differential as it seemed.
but
Like I know
closer,
Bobby
but he
Green
still
makes it look
lost,
good.
right?
Hmm?
But he still lost the numbers, right?
Still lost the numbers by like
Yeah.
three or four, but also he cut Green pretty bad over his
Okay.
eye.
Damage.
So like
So like if you value damage.
so like on a damage scale, like he did a
Okay.
good amount right there. So like I can see where the second you could say was Thiago Moises. I
Okay.
could see that.
Yeah, and see, like we're open minded here on Beefy Boys.
But that's also
Breakdown,
me like
but
really stretching it because I don't think the second was his.
no, I feel
The
you. Me neither.
third was more 50-50 than anything else.
See, I actually gave the third to Moises.
Yeah, I was very 50-50. Like I literally said
The grapple control, like Moises
I
on
said
the
I was
ground.
interested to see how the judges scored that round specifically,
Moises
not
did
the
great
fight.
on the ground in round three, but yeah. So in my opinion, I had it 29 or what 2 rounds?
29-28 for Bobby Green.
Yes.
Me too.
I had 29-28 Bobby Green. Yes. So did you officially give round three to Moises, or did you give round two to Moises? Which round did you give to Moises?
I mean, I honestly wrote in my notes that like it was a real 50-50 for me.
Okay.
So I would have given the third to him in this scoring scenario when I heard 29-28. I was like, oh yeah, 1 and 2 to Green, 3 to Moises.
Me too.
Like, makes
Me too.
sense.
That's what I thought.
And then they said Moises is the winner, and I was like, what the fuck?
Yep. Identical. Yeah. Same here. So like I strong. And what was crazy was it was all three judges.
It was unanimous.
It was not a split. If it
I don't
would've
know
been
what
a
they were
split,
watching, dude.
I would have I have this kind of policy where I try not to get too mad over a split because it was a split. But if it would have been a split, I could have probably lived with it. And I feel like Bobby Green even probably could have lived with it.
Right. That unanimous shit's
But
bullshit.
the unanimous, it's just like literally what were you watching? So leave in the comments if you disagree. If you think Moises won that fight and we're tripping, tell us so in the comments. But I think Bobby Green got robbed, and I think a lot of people that bet on Bobby Green got robbed.
Dude, yeah. Oh, hell yeah. If I'm a bettor, I'm pissed.
Betting the minus 310, betting like a rack or something.
And knowing that he won. Knowing
that he won, I'd be pissed.
It would be the worst, dude. It'd be the worst. You know what else? Think about a parlay. Where, like, everything else worked out because you bet all chalk. Fucking crazy. I would like to note as well going into this, whenever they scored it that way, I immediately took that into account for the rest of the fights going forward for any grapplers. So I was like, okay. So like Bryce Mitchell versus Andre Fili, I was like, Bryce Mitchell has an advantage with these judges. Like, they clearly like grapplers.
Interesting.
So important thing to note. Important thing to note. But they kind of reversed up on that even in the Bryce Mitchell fight. Not really, kind of. We'll get there.
We'll get there. Yeah.
Next fight was a banger. I love Kevin Holland.
Yeah.
Trailblazer,
Kevin Holland. Yep. Super active. I feel like this is him and Green have been on the same card, like, right? Like,
yeah. Kevin Holland's the first guy to four victories in 2020.
They probably share a hotel room.
Goddamn right. Mo Green's been on the card with Bobby Green 3 times now this year as well.
Yeah, that's right. I was like, I thought so, but I was like, maybe
they put Green and Green together all the time.
All the time, yes. All right.
It's the new Green Energy deal.
I was like, maybe my mind's just kind of blending that all together, but I thought so. I was like, this is like this multiple. Is this deja vu card?
No, they're the Jill Stein Bros, the Green Energy plan. So yeah, Kevin Holland 185 versus Charlie Ontiveros. Charlie Ontiveros is a late minute replacement.
Ridiculous money line on this. Insane.
Yeah, minus 800 for Kevin Holland, plus 550 for Ontiveros. You can guess how this fight went.
Yeah, Vegas knew.
Kevin Holland's arms, as I referenced earlier, are the longest. He's 6'2" or 6'3". His arm, his like arm reach, like if you actually like scaled it out. Right? 82, 82, which is 6'10".
Fuck yeah! He has straight like basketball body. Like,
Right.
he looks like a two guard.
Like, it's amazing to me he's not a two guard. I'll be real. Like, to be that long and be 6'3", like,
Or
you
like
should be a two
like a
guard.
wide receiver. Like, yeah,
Right. Yeah. Ooh.
super
Ooh.
athletic body, just super, just ridiculous natural gifts. And but like a fighter spirit too, right? Coupled
Oh
with
my
that,
God.
like
Yeah.
there's a reason why he's not playing
Probably that's
basketball
why he's
because
not. Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
he probably beat up all his basketball coaches. Like he
Right.
fucking just wants
Probably
to
too
smoke.
ready to. Yep.
He loves the fight. Yeah, I love watching him. I'm a big fan. I love how active he is, especially in this weight class, which I feel like 185. Sometimes the guys are scared to get in there and bang because like there's consequences at 185. But he's just like fuck. And he's skinnier than almost everybody he fights.
He rocks that Philly shell defense sometimes if he fights a really good striker. He's awesome to watch.
Yeah, it's great.
He talks shit.
So just real quick, he first round, the fight gets called, and it's and correct me if you feel differently, but when I was watching it live, I literally didn't know what happened. I thought
I didn't know, and then I could hear the ref saying, "Don't move, don't move, don't move," and I knew at that point I was like, "Oh, it's a back or neck or shoulder." I wrote in my notes like, "Looks like he hurt his neck, back, or shoulder," and then sounds like neck or back.
Watching live, like even like the broadcast were like, "Oh, is it a head clash?" Like
Yeah.
Like nobody really, and it took. I think they even went to commercial break, came back, and still the broadcast didn't know.
It took
like
a cool like 6 minutes for them to get him like up and out of the octagon on a stretcher and shit, get him immobilized. Apparently, it was a neck injury, but he's all good. Like he had full feeling in all of his extremities down to his toes, fingertips. Like he was all good. It's just like he might have like slipped a disc or some shit.
And like the technical, it goes down as a verbal submission.
Yeah, verbal submission. That doesn't look great on your record.
And it was a slam. So like it was kind of a scramble situation. Holland, they kind of like lock up, and Holland, it was a really really awkward takedown. It was like he took him down pretty much right on his neck and shoulder.
Big slam.
It was a slam. Like it was really awkward though. You don't see that kind of angle or that kind of throw very often.
No.
Especially from two middleweights, and especially from a skinnier middleweight doing it. I guess they were both kind of skinny middleweights.
I think Kevin Holland's length is a big part of that, man, because he can get his hands locked and just pick people up and drop them. Yeah, right. Like he uses that leverage so well.
Yeah, so the verbal sub. Apparently, though, some kind of cool things I learned about Ontiveros. Apparently, he typically fights at welterweight. So he fought up, and he fought on like 3 days' notice. It was 3 days.
Yeah, I knew he was super short notice. I feel bad for him, like getting like legit hurt.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
But like I gotta say, like Kevin Holland did not give a fuck that he was hurt. Like
Kevin Holland was just marching on the ring, kept looking at him like didn't give up.
And then he started talking mad shit to Izzy.
Unbelievable. Yeah, he was talking. He was like, "I know you've been watching me. I know you've been seeing me. 4-0 in the year 2020. I'm coming. I know you watch. I know you love it." Like he was saying the best shit. It was so. And then Izzy was like, "Shut up! Like go back to fight." He was like, "Fuck you."
Yeah, it was one of those rare scenarios where I saw both guys like sides. Like I see Izzy's been like, "All right, I'm not about to fight you, Kevin Holland," and then I see Kevin Holland like fucking feeling like a big dick motherfucker. Like I'll fucking take on the whole world right now. I feel it. I've been in both positions before. Like obviously not like technically, but just like I've been on both sides of that. But yeah, man, Kevin Holland, he's a ton of fun. Ontiveros, I guess good on him for having the stones to get in there with Holland. But yeah, Vegas, like I said, Vegas knew what was up on this one. Total domination. Kevin Holland looks really good. Didn't really take a scratch. God damn, I'm sure he'll fight again soon. Beefy Boy veteran. So yeah, shout out to Kevin Holland. I mean, how is he not ranked yet? Like, can we?
I fucking
that?
wonder, bro. Like, what are we talking about?
This
Like,
is bullshit.
God damn it!
I'm glad you feel the same way I do, because
like Shabazian should be fighting this motherfucker immediately for the 12th spot. Like, that is some horse shit.
That's some horse shit. Like, honestly, and then I guess it's on Holland for keep fighting unranked fighters, but like
he just signs for whoever they put in front of him. Like, shout out to him.
I don't know, man. If Holland's not ranked really soon, like I'm gonna have a major problem with that.
Like 4 wins in a year, and it's only October. Like, we throw some respect on that. Like, if he gets a 5th win in a year, like fought 5 times for the promotion in the calendar year, and won all 5. Like, come on now.
You know, there's some asshole in the top 15 that hasn't fought in like 2 years. Like,
That's
you
what
know
I'm
what I'm
saying. Like, what are
saying?
we
That shit is
doing?
bullshit. Yeah, I
I
feel you.
know, I know the top 8 and 185 are like, thick and solid, but like, let's get this man a top 15 shot at least. Like, what the fuck are we talking about?
No, I'm totally on board with that. Like, I don't even care who needs to get bounced. Somebody needs to get bounced. Give Kevin Holland that ranking. Put some respect on his name. And then let's get into this next fight, man. One of my favorite nicknames of all of mixed martial arts. Maurice the crochet boss Green uh, versus Greg throw women on beds of assault rifles Hardy, I think is his official nickname.
Prince of War, but yes, that's what it also would.
Prince of War. My bad. I can get those mixed up sometimes. My bad. But yeah, go ahead and introduce us, buddy.
So Mo Green, Crochet Boss coming in at plus 260. Greg Hardy, the minus 330 favorite. Um, yeah, I'll say that Greg Hardy switched camps, went to go train with Rashad
Sean
Evans, Dean
yeah.
Thomas, those guys out. I don't know where they're based out of, but that's like who Woodley trains with as well. So they kind of the same camp. Um,
Yeah.
and I mean, essentially,
I
it
gotta
looked
say,
good. I thought.
like this is one of those classic scenarios where we have to like separate the man from the athlete to like evaluate this fight.
Right? Like I
Because like
thought he looked good.
and I'll get into it after we officially break down the fight, but like I want to like just say he's a young man. Like maybe the story's not over on him. You know what I mean? Like maybe there's a redemption story coming. Maybe, but I don't know enough about how he's currently living to really
Yeah.
kind of like go there. But we'll get there. But so yeah, Maurice Green was plus 260. Actually, I was actually kind of shocked at that. And then
I was too, but I
yeah,
mean, it made sense after you watched it
after you
develop.
watched the fight, yeah, Vegas knew what was up. Greg Hardy minus 320. Also important to note, Greg Hardy almost became the first heavyweight to ever miss weight. Did you know that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
160 or 266.5. He had to make 266, obviously, because you get the 1 pound allowance. But like, yeah, he had to
They
take the
gave
extra
him an
one
extra
hour.
hour. Yeah, yeah. They gave him an extra hour. And I mean, God damn it, did he look like it? Just such a massive human being. But not that he has no tits, not a lot of jiggle.
Oh no,
Like
no, no!
he looks
It's
like a
his,
former
dude.
all
His
pro
legs, his ass and legs are huge.
Even his
His
arms
shorts.
too. Like his
Yeah,
arms don't look like fighters. His arms look like George
no.
Foreman's.
Yeah,
Like
his whole body looked like fucked up, like strong. Like I
like
was
his
like,
body
God
does not
damn.
look like a fighter. He still has NFL body for
Right, it's
sure.
crazy. Like bro, I'm so happy you say that because I literally thought it to myself. I was like, when do you lose a football body when you've done it that long? Like, do you ever lose it at that point?
To be real, I kind of still have mine, and I haven't even
Right,
touched the
like the
weight since
shape.
March.
Yeah.
I mean, you do it for fucking 13, 15 years, and I mean, you know what I'm saying? But I also wanted to note too that I mean on the same note of just like being swole, when I looked at Hardy's back, I got like this immediate comp came to my mind. And it's kind of gonna shock you because I like to make like cross racial comps. Like I feel like everybody just makes like every comp has to be the same race, but I'm talking about it just back fucking Lesnar, bro. Like when I looked at
Ooh, you might
Hardy's
be right.
back,
Yeah,
I
because
got
it's
like
like
a
so
goddamn
like.
like
Mhm.
nom flashback to like Lesnar's like roided out fucking back. Like I don't know, that's how fucking big Hardy is. He's fucking his back remind me
Well,
of
you should.
Lesnar.
I want to note as well in his post. Oh fuck! All right, let's break down the fight, and then I'll get something else that goes
There's a
to his
lot to get
back. Like
into
what?
here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So his striking looked good. He was
Yes.
catching Mo Green with some nice counters, and apparently he has real power because like he was rocking Mo Green with
Yeah,
these
yeah.
shots.
Mo Green was not having a good time. And I mean, round one, it's not necessarily even just standing as you may
No,
think.
he
It
took
was a
him
lot
down
of
and
ground and pound.
a lot of good control on
Super
top.
effective ground. That kind of reminded me of Brock too, bro. Like, I'll
Right.
be real. Like, I was like, felt like it was reminding me so much of Brock, but instead of roids, it's just natural physique
Just real.
athleticism.
Yeah, just
Like, it
like a
reminded me
real
a
freak.
lot of Brock. Just the size of his hands, the back, the ground and pound,
The
just
strength, just
the
overall strength. You could tell he
strength.
was just way stronger. Like Mo Green
Yes,
didn't know how to deal with the strength.
yes. And talking about just like natural physical physiques, not the exact opposite of Mo Green. Mo Green, we
Right. Six
alluded to him
seven.
earlier. He's the guy who was 330 pounds and went to the MMA gym to lose weight and just get in shape. And now he's found himself in UFC fighting a monster like, Greg Hardy. So talking about like physical freak versus like not physical. I mean, 6'7" is kind of physical freak,
6'7", 250. You know what I'm saying?
but
So like pretty average size for your height there.
yeah, and just I'm talking about like athleticism, like explosiveness,
Oh,
like core strength.
yeah, I'm
Like,
sure Greg Hardy's one of the best athletes in the UFC.
yeah, yeah. Oh,
I
without a
I would
doubt,
put
maybe
money
to
on it.
ever be in the UFC. And Mo Green, like I said, is just so 6'7" aside. There's not a lot of physical tools.
Yeah,
Bad,
I mean,
bad
and
luck in, in that
I mean
regard.
that's essentially exactly what you watch play out too. Is
Yes,
just
yes,
a
yes,
guy that was almost like a bigger, stronger man, just like kind of manhandle the guy that was not as athletically gifted. And
yes,
also, Greg Hardy's striking looked good. Like I'm not going to say
yes.
technically he looked bad. His striking
Well,
was good.
and what emphasizes that, what like kind of emphasizes, embodies that, if you will, is the fact that what dropped Mo Green for the final TKO was a jab. It wasn't some crazy football player
This little
wild.
step in jab.
It was a nice, crisp, like technically sound jab, which is scary because we
Right.
just spent, however many minutes just, going in on how physically gifted Greg Hardy is and how
And his
insane.
power clearly translates.
Power clearly translated, like I said, dropped a really good heavyweight with a jab. Like, man, it was impressive. Like I said, hard guy to root for. Hard guy to root for. And then I also kind of wanted to get on this like redemption tip. Like, let's not forget he was really, really young when all that happened. He really, and I know that's kind of
Yeah.
a shitty excuse. Like, I'm not trying to be like a boys will be boys. Like, I'm super against domestic violence for
He's
sure.
just now 32, and that
Yeah, so
happened
I think he was
5 years
maybe
ago.
24, 25, or like I don't know. I
Oh,
mean,
for all the allegations, 25, 26 of
so
when
so
it all occurred.
and that's about the age me and Harrison are. And like, I mean, we're not out here doing this, but not everybody had the same upbringing we did.
Also, weren't millionaires in the NFL.
like I'm not making excuses, and also super controversial take that I kind of don't even want to say, but I gotta say it. We don't know what old girl did. Like, like,
Also,
like
I
we
mean,
like. I
you want to
mean,
hear a more controversial take? She dropped the charges,
she dropped the charges.
but also apparently witness tampering was maybe a thing there.
Yeah, it was
It's
prisoner.
real, like
Like I'm
black
not
market style
trying to
story.
I'm and take it from here. I'm throwing out what ifs here. I'm
Oh
like
yeah, me
I'm
too.
not dying on the Greg Hardy hill. But
Nope.
what I also want to just mainly kind of just leave a door open for a redemption story, like not full blown cancel culture, like unredeemable. Like the guy, you know what I'm saying? What if this guy lives to be 70? I mean, hell, the guys running for president are in their late 70s.
True.
A lot can change, a lot, or not. Or not. Maybe
Or
this
not,
guy
right?
blows up in his face and he's a complete fucking scumbag and he deserves whatever happens to him. I'm just saying I'm not the guy to make that judgment. And I kind of want to tie this into what's been happening with Sean Connery's passing. Everybody's shitting on a dead man and canceling dead people and shit. Like what I'm saying is let's not man, I'm not even religious, but the whole casting a stone thing, like ain't none of us out here like perfect enough to be like saying other people are unredeemable or like I don't know, man. I know I'm not trying to be that like throwing a rock at that glass house because you know what I'm saying, man. Like if we're all
What?
being honest, like if all of our deepest darkest secrets were exposed, like every single human on earth would be canceled. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and it's
And
also it's hard to put our judgment of our cultural standards on a different time period. Like that's not a thing you can do. You know what I'm saying? Like the way the world is viewed today is not how it was seen then. So like your perception as a world and as a person is entirely different when you live back then versus now.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's unfair to think about like, for instance, I know that like the Sean Connery thing, like they're like he's super misogynistic. I assume is what they're saying.
yeah, and a woman beater and all that. Yeah, yeah,
Right, right,
yeah.
right. But he's born in like 19, like what, 30s Scotland. Like it's not a great spot. Like
No,
it's
no,
not.
no. I feel it.
So you know.
And what I'm just saying, it's like I think Dave Chappelle said it like, man, nature canceled that motherfucker. Like, what were you over here talking shit on a dead guy over like a Playboy interview he did fucking
Right,
40 years ago? And like, who are we? Like you ain't
right.
never done nothing wrong.
Well,
Like
that
you ain't
was
never fucked up. Like I'm just talking not you, but I'm just talking about like society,
right,
like just
right.
casting these judgments. Like, man, let's look at your worst moment if it played out in front of everybody.
Well, think
Like,
about it this way: if a cultural standard was to like be judged in time periods, this is just like a sideways analogy. What if we figure out in 50 years dogs can talk to us? We just have to like do something to where we can communicate with them, and then they tell us they don't want to be our pets. Are we all wrong for having
yeah,
dogs
are
as
you gonna
pets?
take down the Beefy Boys statue because I have a fucking dog? Like, you know
Right.
what I
You see
mean?
what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like you
No,
can't
it's
put
just yeah, bro. I feel you. It's crazy, and like I said, and I'm bringing this full circle to Greg Hardy because, like I said, we're talking about a relatively young man, and like I said, maybe he's a piece of shit. Maybe he'll never change. Maybe he's still beating women. Like I said, I'm not trying to die on this hill, but it's crazy. The Sean Connery thing was so interwoven with it to me because the night before the fights. I went to sleep thinking, God, Greg Hardy, such a piece of shit. Can't wait to watch him get beat up tomorrow. But then the morning, and then the Sean Connery, and I spent all day like debating people on Twitter of just like canceling dead people and all that. And it made me like literally all in a day's time shift the light that I see Greg Hardy in. Like, damn, am I
right.
being a hypocrite? Like I'm sitting here saying like, like who are we to judge and all that, and then here I am, judging Greg Hardy. So, like I said, I mean, he definitely fucked up. Definitely, probably, not a Boy Scout. Probably, not somebody you want to like, maybe allow in your home
Trespass
of
onto the
trust. Or,
street. Yeah.
but what I'm saying is like, who are we to just be holier than now and
Right.
just say somebody can't come back from a mistake? So I just, like I said, I went to sleep feeling one way and I woke up feeling another way of just like, like hopefully, I'm actually rooting for a Greg Hardy redemption story instead of wanting to see him crash and burn. And I feel like our society could use a little bit more of that. And yeah, man, we'll keep it pushing. I just kind of wanted to kind of bring it full circle. Sometimes life and sports intersect and like it just directly had a correlation to me. So I just really wanted to touch on that. But man, now we get to the fun stuff here, the co-main event. Go ahead and introduce this, Harrison.
So it's 145. Bryce Mitchell, Thug Nasty, which is a hilarious nickname. He's
Yeah.
ranked number 15 in the 145 weight class versus Andre Feely. Bryce Mitchell was minus 130. What was Andre Feely? Plus
Plus
160?
110. So they
Oh.
had it close. Vegas had it pretty goddamn
See,
close.
I missed his odds coming in. That's really
Yeah, yeah.
close.
Plus 110 was like what they announced like on the UFC screen.
Yeah. That's what I've been looking for. Wow, that's close. So Bryce Mitchell got to wear his camo shorts. That shit was amazing.
Yeah, that was
Fucked
like
with
a
that
whole
heavy.
storyline. I mean,
Fucked
I
with that
feel like
heavy.
they beat that storyline to death. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but yes, Bryce Mitchell lobbied essentially for camo shorts because he's from Arkansas, and I think a self-proclaimed redneck. And I get it, we're from Oklahoma. Like I know 80 Bryce Mitchells. Like, let's just put it
Right.
that way.
Yeah,
Like a
like I
very
can't say that I
common
don't know
type
those
of dude.
people.
And so yeah, he got his camo shorts. That was kind of a fun little side storyline. But yeah, go ahead, brother.
So Bryce Mitchell essentially, in my opinion, came out in the opening 30 seconds and really just made the fight exactly what it was going to be, which was him getting in on the legs, getting a takedown, and controlling the round. I scored it 10-9 to Mitchell for the
So
first.
I was
How'd
gonna
you?
ask you that. I was borderline 10-8. I don't think, but I don't think anybody else scored it a 10-8, like between you and Twitter and the actual real judges. So maybe I'm tripping, but I really thought it was a dominant round. I mean, I guess maybe he didn't do enough damage, but god damn it, I feel like he was in total control for the entire round.
Tons
And
of control, just not a lot of
tons,
damage. Is
yeah.
exactly why I did 10-9. If there was more damage, I would have done 10-8.
So I don't know. Maybe I'm getting soft. Maybe I was biased. I put 10-8 question mark. I'll go ahead and give it 10-9, just being hindsight 2020, being rational. But in the moment, man, I was feeling it. I was feeling maybe a 10-8.
Ooh, you're feeling that 10-8. You're feeling it.
I
Thug
was
Nasty
feeling it, man.
train.
I was, man.
Um,
But see, man, and then round two though,
well, yeah, I
I
was gonna
thought
say,
round
how'd you
two
score
flipped the
two?
script. I actually gave two to Philly. I really did. The
I
stand
did
up
too.
and the sub attempt, which I thought showed kind of like I'm not scared of your necessarily grappling as much as you think I am, but more than anything, it was the stand up. I thought it was the classic classic matchup of a grappler versus a striker. I thought Feely's striking was clearly like far more advanced and superior than Bryce Mitchell's, but Bryce Mitchell's ability to make it his fight and keep it on the ground and be dominant on the ground, which is what he's good at. His ability to execute his game plan shined through.
Now, this is what I brought up earlier, though. 2 judges scored that round for him,
For
and not
Mitchell?
Feely. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
They valued these judges last night were all about the grappling. I don't know why. I don't know what like convinced them that
grappling
was the
leaning
move.
judges. Yeah.
They were heavy with the grappling.
And you mentioned that earlier on the podcast that it would come full circle in the Bryce Mitchell fight. So yeah, I'll be real. I didn't necessarily make that kind of real time like just.
I didn't.
I
I
wasn't
scored it
picking
for
up on
Feely.
that.
I scored it for Feely still,
But
but I knew
yeah, I
that
scored
was
for
going to be a
Feely.
toss up.
Yeah. I mean, to me, I just feel he was piecing him up in round 2 a little bit. I mean, he was Mitchell. There was times where Mitchell looked a little nervous, a little like,
Yeah,
oh
a little,
shit,
little,
like,
little shaky, a little
we,
shaky.
we got a fight on our hands here. Like it wasn't like Mitchell did not dominate Feely for 3 rounds. Like you can't
No.
give like if you were like trying to summarize this fight in one sentence, that wouldn't be the sentence you chose. Like you know what
No,
at least.
I was just gonna say I definitely had it 29-28. Like I definitely scored the second round for Feely. I
But
didn't
yeah,
think it was like
I mean, we're kind of splitting hairs here because then in round 3, Mitchell does put an exclamation point on it. He had like 1,000,000 takedowns. Like I literally wrote that in my note, 1,000,000. Like I don't know the exact number. It was so many. I
I think
think
he had 8 total in the fight.
in total, yeah. I mean, and a lot of those came in the 3rd round. Like maybe
Like 8
half
of
that was
13, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
On his
yeah. So
like his takedowns on attempts. That's a good
and,
number.
and apparently the Twitter hot take and like I don't know. Like I said, I follow a lot of MMA pages on social media and shit. Like what I've been seeing a lot of is that like Mitchell is like doesn't do a lot of damage with his control and that like he's boring and like not scary and all
Okay, well,
this.
don't get taken down then. Like I feel the same way about Khabib sometimes.
Like man,
Early on in his
bro,
career, especially. I mean,
you fucking took the words out of my mouth. And like I'm not saying Bryce Mitchell's Habib because he does need to learn a little bit better ground and pound, but his ability to keep top pressure and fight like heavier than he is on
yeah,
top reminded me so much of Habib. Like it
yeah.
really
Like he
did.
just doesn't let guys get all the way up
I
ever.
know he's not as good. I know I'm not like riding the hype train. I know I'm not being a casual. Like I'm just saying that one attribute, like the ability to be heavier on top than you would like otherwise seem to be, and to like fight stronger than your physique leads on. It's Khabibish. That one little aspect, you know what I mean? And
Right.
I
I
mean,
absolutely agree.
like, so I don't know. I'm not trying to get over my skis here. I'm not trying to make too spicy of a take, but just having recently watched Habib and then watching this Bryce Mitchell fight, like that correlation took place in my brain.
Yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense, especially when you look at how good Mitchell was in top control and top position in the third round. Like the third round specifically, he just
Yes,
dominated. Like he came out and just
dominated.
dominated.
Yeah, and Ophelia had no answers on the ground, but it wasn't for lack of effort. He was squirming and wiggling and exploding.
Philiad's very explosive on his
Yeah,
bottom
he
game, which was
was.
like he was
And
getting some reversals. Like it was nice. He had a good bottom game on jiu-jitsu as far as when he was in guard. But Bryce Mitchell was just so good at the control.
yes. So it's just like I said, it's almost like he had like a weight vest on or something like Bryson Mitchell.
Right.
Like when he's on top, like just some fighters have this ability to like press downward, use gravity to from top position, and it's just It's for like I said, maybe it's not for everybody. But see, man, and maybe I'm just watching too many fights. I'm getting too deep into it, but I wasn't bored at all in that fight.
I loved it. I thought
And
there
then
was
I
a
hop on
lot.
Twitter and I see everybody talking about how fucking boring Bryce Mitchell is. I'm like, what? I thought that was a great performance.
I thought there was a lot of intricacy in it because there was a lot of like sweeps that they were working for. There was a lot of like good jujitsu and like position work they were doing.
And then, like I said, and then in round 2, man, I feel he had me like if I had bet money on Mitchell, which I probably would have if I was going to bet on any of these
Philly
fights,
would have me nervous as shit.
it would have had me nervous in round 2. He was touching that chin up a little bit, man. So I thought it was a great fight. I don't know what these other people was watching, but I want to definitely give enough time for this main event. So we'll keep it pushing. Yeah, Mitchell gets the unanimous decision, promising featherweight. And he officially has like the UFC media and Dana on his side. So
The
I
stamp,
mean,
yeah.
so man, like we always talk about how crowded featherweight is, but I mean
He's got a more
got
clear path than anyone else does.
yes, it's the what do they call it? The skids are greased. I think that's the saying. Like the skids are greased for Bryce Mitchell. He's got the fans, he's got public behind him. I don't know. Are we gonna touch on the mask statement? Did you see that after the fight? Did you see his mask statement?
No, I just fast forwarded just the main event after that because I was ready for Silva.
So no, it was like the whole post after everything, like the actual media session.
Oh no, no, no! I
Mitchell
didn't. I
like
haven't watched it yet.
goes in on like anti-mask rhetoric and like but he did it from like a place that I is like the place that I like to see it coming from. And it's like he was saying like, what about these like single moms that are waitresses and their wages are getting cut in half? And like he was coming at it from that perspective, which if I'm going to listen to an anti-mask perspective, that's the perspective I want it to be. And some people won't even be open-minded enough to like allow that conversation to take place. But like, because like I said, like, and then maybe I have a soft spot for her. I came from a poor single mom who did hair. But like, I can't imagine if I was a child during this pandemic and like my mom couldn't work for a
Yeah,
couple of months, like I would have been directly hosed. So like
yeah, oh
in
yeah, oh
Oklahoma,
yeah,
and Bryce Mitchell was talking not nationwide. He was talking only about his home state of Arkansas and saying there's no way the people of Arkansas would have voted for this if they'd given a choice. And he made some kind of valid points. He made some other kind of not valid points, which is what everybody's going to kind of focus on and point to try to make him out to look like an idiot. But there was a couple of little takeaway moments from that weren't complete horseshit, in my opinion. And mind you, I'm not an anti-masker. I wear a mask all the time. I live in the Bay Area. You can't go anywhere without a mask. So
yeah. I
I'm
mean,
just saying,
California most restrictive.
like I said, like he was talking about kids like me. And I think a lot of these, woke people with their heads up their ass don't even take time to consider, that shit
Yeah, that's super fair on his part.
and so, but yeah, highly controversial because he had the public on his side. He's building a lot of fans, but I feel like his fan base is gonna kind of like that even more. It's kind of, but I don't know. So after it was kind of inflammatory. It's going around social media like Bryce Mitchell. He had some kind of controversial things to say about masks. I said I definitely don't agree with everything he said. Probably don't even agree with most of what he said, but I just think there's a couple little cherry pick moments where I think he was kind of coming from the right place. You know what I mean? But yeah, we'll keep it pushing. And yeah, to this legendary main event, one could say, versus Uriah Hall versus Anderson Silva. Uriah Hall's the number 10 ranked middleweight at 185. Anderson Silva's currently unranked, but just maintains legendary status.
Just a legend, just an
Yeah,
all-time
his his
legend.
his name alone doesn't need a number by it. And Hall was minus 240 favorite and plus 200 Anderson Silva. This was the classic fight of like the casual trap bet because like every like little Twitter poll and shit I saw like was like had like just the public choosing Silva because he's just the Q rating, the
Really?
yeah,
Oh
just
yeah,
the
that makes
name
sense because they know his
recognition, just
name. They know his
casuals.
name.
I'm talking like Twitter, like not like hardcore fans, like just casuals, like the name recognition. A lot of people grew up watching him, just legendary status. A lot of people don't know who even Uriah Hall is, but I wasn't drinking the Kool-Aid. I pretty much didn't
Yeah.
see this going well for Silva. Just father time's undefeated. You know what I mean?
Well, how'd you
And,
score the first round?
oh, I scored in that terrific transition, and I thought it was a very pleasant surprise. Silva came out looking great. I gave round one to Silva based off his elite striking, which, the striking doesn't necessarily age poorly. Like, that's not the part people are worried about.
His
The
body was
offensive
looking
part.
bad.
Well, just we'll get to it, but just the chin, you can't.
Yes.
There ain't shit you can do
Can't
about the chin.
can't eat shots like he used to.
Yeah, and we'll get into that. And that's why everybody today on social media is just saying like, like, oh, I thought Anderson looks great. I don't know why Dana's saying he should retire, but that's
His
like,
first 5 minutes looked great. Everything else past that was a little more tough.
yeah. And I think you can even split the hairs and say offensively he looks phenomenal. But guess what? It's just like basketball or football. Like it's deep and it's two sides to the game. Like that's
Yep.
literally half of the game. Like if you suck at half, that means 50%. That's a failing grade. And And so I think offense. I think he's like one of these teams, like a Big 12 team with a great like Texas Tech with a great offense and a bad defense. But like I mean, that's not going to cut it, especially at that weight class.
It's a really good analogy, actually, to be honest, because like it really is like that where his offense is it can still score at all times. Like he can still land he can still land like crazy good shots, combos, good counter strikes, but like he's way too willing to eat a counter strike or way too willing to eat a strike to counter. And he's not respectful of how much the martial arts have come along and how for your like analogy, how good the opposing offense still is when your defense is that bad.
Yeah, for sure. So actually, and then I don't know if this is spicy or not. I gave round 2 to Silva too.
I did too.
Yeah,
I actually had 2018 through 2. I was like, whoa, we're going to see an upset tonight?
I'll say.
He was slowing down a lot at the end of the second.
Well, the first 2 rounds were just whack. Like if I was a casual, like if I had just tuned in to watch,
Uriah Hall was
everybody
way
keeps
too
telling me about
respectful.
the Silva guy, I'm gonna fucking watch because everybody keeps telling me how good. If I was just that guy that just like had tuned in to watch Silva because everybody told me how good he is, I would have changed the channel. Like after those 2 rounds, like they were kind of, I don't want to say pussyfooting around, but they're kind of pussyfooting around.
They definitely were.
A lot of feints, a lot of feeling each other out, a lot of trying to establish range, but a whole lot of nothing really. But like I said, Silva kind of came out on the better side of the dullness, but it was a weak first 2 rounds.
I just thought Uriah Hall was way too respectful of Anderson Silva's perceived capabilities. Like, I know Anderson Silva's a great striker, and I know he can do damage, and you got to be careful. But that doesn't mean that you're not also a dangerous striker, or that you shouldn't take advantage of his lack of defense.
Hall, I think it's safe to say Hall was starstruck. And I think after the fight, as much as I loved it, kind of proved it. Like,
oh, for sure. Holy shit. What the fuck was that?
Mentally, Hall wasn't in the best place for that fight, and I don't mean like
he didn't even want to fight Anderson. I mean, he did because like for the prestige, but he didn't want to hurt him. And it's like, how do you fight someone but you don't want to hurt him? Like you have to be willing to hurt someone.
He was fighting with kid gloves on, as they say. Like they, well,
Shabazz talked about it
in Candyland, and you try to let him win. Like I don't know, like that's the vibe I kind of got for real.
Well, yeah, like Shabazz talked about when he fought Krokop, like. How after the fight, like he wasn't even happy that he won the fight because that was one of his like idols that he like loved whenever he was like growing into the sport. So it was like for him, it was like an honor to fight him, but not good to KO him.
And it's understandable, but you got to have that young lion mentality if you're fighting.
You got to be trying like Izzy. Like Izzy tries to just like whenever you fought Anderson, it wasn't like he was trying to not finish him. Like he was just like having a good striking match.
And competitors like Anderson actually, I think, want that. Like Anderson don't want people taking it easy on it, kind of like patronizing him. You know what I'm saying? Like a legendary, like that's embarrassing on his end as a competitor. So like,
yeah, it's almost disrespectful.
And then so round 3 ended with a fucking bang, and I essentially think it's safe to say Silva was saved by the bell in round 3. Like,
for sure. If that fight was 15 seconds longer, it was over.
Yeah, like it could have ended in round 3 potentially, but. I think it was Herb Dean was for the main event, right? So
he is real sketchy on a quick call. Like he was wanting to step in at the end of the third.
Yeah.
Like he was very close. Yeah, which I would have disagreed with if he did.
They let him come back out for round 4, and then round 4. I mean, it's pretty decisive. Uriah Hall, knocks him down. What was the strike that knocked him down originally?
It was just like this, like. It was a clean right, just like a straight right.
Yeah, straight right. Okay, and then he drops him, and then it kind of reminded me of the first fight of the night when
Miles Jones
really didn't want to like drop the hammer. Like I definitely got that same vibe from Hall, but Herb Dean was like, you got to finish him off, but then. And then, so it's kind of contradictory, but then, in my opinion, shortly thereafter comes what, if it was anybody else, would be considered a quick stoppage.
Yeah, that's what I thought, too.
Like, I don't know, man. Like,
but then you see Anderson Silva shooting on Herb Dean's leg and try to take him down at the end, and it was like, oh, Anderson Silva is fucked up.
Oh, yeah. I think, and I'm so glad you brought that up, because I was, like, in the middle of, like, saying that was a quick stoppage. When I saw that, And
You're
I'm
just like
like,
scratch, scratch, scratch. Like, nope, nope, nope. It was a good
yeah.
stoppage.
Yeah, and I mean, like nobody wants to see Anderson Silva get seriously hurt. Nobody
Right.
want
That's not what you want
Hall
to
didn't
see.
want to do it.
He was
Like
super upset. He was saying, "I'm sorry" at the end of the fight.
yeah,
Like, what the
yeah, that
fuck
was
is that?
it was I think he took it a little bit too far, and I think it leads to kind of the psychology of what we were saying. He wasn't really like in there like really going 100%. I don't feel like he gets the win, and I don't even know what that does for him because it like rankings wise, I mean he definitely
I mean, it's not
maintains
really
it.
worth shit. Like, it
Yeah, I
just
mean
keeps
he
his place at 10.
keeps his place at 10 exactly, gives him a check to cash. But
Do you think
yeah,
it's time for Silva to retire? Like at the end, like he was acting like it was his last fight. He was crying in the octagon, like taking all his time. But then in the post-fight interview, he was like, "I don't know. We'll see. Like I'm gonna go home, talk to my family. Like we'll see if it's my last
yeah,
fight."
but
It's like,
then I don't know if you
hope,
see what Dana was like, hell the fuck no, it's a wrap. Like
yeah,
Dana
thank
treated it the
God.
same as Cowboy Cerrone.
Right, where he was like,
Remember?
we'll
He was
talk about it, but it's over.
yeah. He did after Cerrone's last fight. Cerrone was kind of being wishy-washy, just like Silva was, and then after the post-fight presser, Dana was like, "Nah,
Yeah,
it's
like that. Hey,
over."
that's
Yeah,
over and done with.
yeah. And I mean, it's always tricky, right? It's always tricky. Like, when does a great hang it up? But I mean, yeah, Silva. I mean, like I said, if fighting was an offense-only thing, then I mean Silva could fight for 10 more years. But like the
Yeah, if it was a
chin,
striking exhibition, he'd still be at the top, like world class. But like he just can't take the counter shots.
the chin is gone, and there's no way to build back up a chin. And
Yeah,
like on like a CTE type basis, like once the chin goes, like it's
you're
not
taking
we
damage,
say
damage.
chin, it's not actually your chin, it's your brain.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah. It's like your
like the
brain's
chin
like your
is
switch
like
to
a
cut off.
deceiving term. Like it's your brain's like trying to let you know something. Like it's the same way like we throw up when you get too drunk. Your body's like letting you know like you stop drinking. Like and like it's like if you it's like when you start getting knocked out easier and easier and easier, it's your body telling you to like stop getting hit in the fucking head.
Right.
Like it
Absolutely.
really is. So, and for that reason, I want to see him done. Cause so I mean, if say in some whack scenario, Anderson Silva, because I know Ariel was saying that I think Silva had one more fight technically on his contract, but you can't give him another ranked opponent, right? So are we going to see Anderson
What's the
Silva
point, you
as like
know?
a featured prelim against like a prospect? Like I don't want to see that.
Right.
Like
Like
I
yeah,
don't
like
want to
what's the
see
point?
that.
Like
Like
just
or are we
retire.
gonna give him another old timer fight, like a super old timer? Like nobody wants to see that either. Like it's done. It's
It's
over.
time. I
Like
wrote in my notes too, like I'm glad I hope this is Anderson's last fight. Like I wrote
and
that.
this is another reason why I'm even cool with Khabib staying retired because it's like man, I hate seeing this like late stage. Like nobody wants to see like I don't want to see LeBron like playing a Udonis Haslam role in 8 years, like just like a
Right.
man on the bench. Like I don't want to see that. Like I
Retire at the
like
top of the mountain, don't fall down it.
like or even like give your chance to start slipping. But like Anderson Silva's been slipping for a minute. Like this
Right.
has
Like it's
been
been
a
like this is like year
downward.
3. Like 2017 would have been like a pinnacle for him to retire. We all would have been like he's one of the greatest ever.
Yeah,
But like
like
adding
that's
these losses up to Cannonier and like shit like this, like that doesn't help your resume for
no,
the greatest of
yeah.
all time.
Like that's
These
what I'm
fights wouldn't have
saying.
helped, and then to win them wouldn't have helped anyway.
And like put age in perspective. Like I think Habib's in his early 30s, right? And like Anderson
Yeah,
Silva's
32.
45. So this is like in 13 years watching Khabib like lose fights to like mediocre fighters. And just like imagine how bad that would suck. That's kind of like what we're watching here.
It's
Like
like
that's
not
kind.
something you want to see.
No. And so yeah, like this fight kind of or this episode of Beefy Boys kind of has a similar theme as far as like sending off a legend, but it's just such a more sour taste in your mouth than sending off Khabib because like I said, man, like Anderson Silva should have retired long before even the inception of Beefy Boys breakdown. So like
For sure.
this feels a lot. Unfortunately, this feels a lot more like the Cowboy Cerrone episode than it does the Khabib episode, which is a disservice to the greatness of Anderson Silva. But like,
Right.
how else
I
are we
agree.
supposed to feel? Like this shit should have ended long ago. Like I said, Brady's still killing it with the Bucks, but like if the
Well,
Bucks
Brady
would have,
still looks good.
but I'm saying, like, if the Bucks right now were like playing like the Jets and just looked like a dumpster fire,
Oh, well,
like
hang it up.
like we wouldn't want to see Brady come back and like try to give it another go with the Jaguars next year. Like
Hell no.
no, and that's what it feels like we're fucking watching here. It feels like when Favre played for the Jets. Or you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like when
Yeah.
Montana played for the Chiefs, it's like come on now.
Yeah, just be done. Like that's
Be
honestly what it
done.
is. Hopefully Dana's true to his word and like will not book him for a fight.
Yeah, me too. And I hope, God damn it, I hope we're not like 2 years from now watching Silva and like bare knuckle, like co-maining a Paige Van Zant card, like God
How
damn it,
awful, dude. That'd be so
that'll make me want
awful.
to die. Yeah. So like, God damn it, Anderson, like please hang him up. But one of the all-time greats, I saw somebody, I won't shout him out, but like a guy I played football with, he was saying I think he was trying to say something about a goat, and I was just like Mount Rushmore, we can talk. Goat, we can't talk.
Yeah, I think he's taking himself out of the discussion because we've seen what it's like at the end. And like, just like we're saying, this whole conversation is like, you kind of fucked your whole legacy by doing these end fights that you didn't need to do.
See, like right now, I don't think "fucked" is the word. Like I think now, if he goes
Tarnished.
out, time will be kind to Anderson Silva.
Mm.
But if it,
I hope that's true.
like I said, if he comes out and he's like fighting unranked prospects and losing, and he essentially becomes like a Cerrone, then that's like irreparable damage. Or like I said, if in 3 years he's the co-main on a bare knuckle card with Paige Van Zant, then we'll officially move to like legacy, like ruined, like what are we doing here status. And yeah, man, just go open a jiu-jitsu gym and fucking cash checks and
Yeah, like be a legend. Put on
yeah,
seminars. Go do talks. Like be a Clinton. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I feel you, man. Maybe just kill less people. But
There it is. There it is.
yeah,
Baiting
man.
it out.
Oh, there we go. Thanks for the softball, bro. But yeah, man. A lot of fun. This was a really fun episode of Beefy Boys Breakdown, episode 22. Make sure you go subscribe on YouTube. Make sure you follow us on
Spotify, Apple Podcasts.
Apple Podcast, on Podbean, anywhere you want to find it. Follow me on Instagram at Dreadful Talk Dom, Harrison at Harrison_Madden, just like the video game. And yeah,
Yes,
man,
sir.
just support. Beefy Boys t-shirts are getting printed up this fucking week. They're paid
Yeah,
for.
as we speak. As we
As we
speak.
speak. And yeah, feel free to DM us or hit us up on any social media if you're interested in one. Feel free to prepay. Make sure we have your size. They're gonna go quick. They're
Yeah.
$25 shipped.
Do you have two X's available?
Yeah, we're doing 2X's all the way down to smalls.
Yep.
We don't necessarily have women's sizes, but smalls and mediums for most ladies. I mean, regardless, they don't fit bad on women. I've seen it. It doesn't fit
Yeah.
bad on women. A lot of
They-
different
they-
body
they-
shapes I've seen it on.
They fit well.
It'll be fine. They're pretty damn comfortable shirts too. They're not like the stiff ones. So yeah, man. Support. Support. Go follow. Go subscribe. Hit us up if you want a T-shirt. We already got one on pre-ordered. So shout out to Michael Piper for being the first Beefy Boys.
Yeah,
T-shirt
shout out to
customer.
Michael Piper, by the way. I meant to
Appreciate
do
your
that.
support, brother. And yeah, thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll be back next week.
Catch you soon.
Have a good one, brother.